successful claims.
TV and bringing the most exciting interviews. Today, delighted to be in London with another fantastic guest. Today we've got Stephen Graham. Stephen, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and the time.
My pleasure, brother, my pleasure.
So for people who don't know, Stephen's been through an absolute insane journey to this point, taking him through many highs and also some bad lows at certain points. But thankfully he's come out the other side and he's obviously looking to share some of the wisdom of his choices at different points and also share his story. So thank you very much, like I said, Stephen.
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man.
So, like I said, most importantly of all, I guess we'd like to go back to the sort of start of their story and talk, obviously, briefly and touch your childhood and where you're from. Obviously, today we're just touching Stonebridge, where you sort of always born and raised around this area.
No, I wasn't born in Stone, but I grew up around Stone. I was hanging around Stone, should I say, from a youth. But I was born and grew up in South Kilburn.
Yeah.
Grew up in South Kilburn originally, but used to hang around Stonebridge, Church Road. Back in the day, Stonebridge, Church Road, down to Kilburn, just one big link in it. So I used to run around these areas as a youth, but my trouble started when I was a little boy, between 6 and 8. When I really acknowledged what was going on. You know, when you really come to that realization that your stepfather don't like you. You know, and that was where my troubles really started. When I really came to grips that my stepfather was like a stepfather from hell. You know, it always kind of just thinking about it. Like he had a dislike for me, whether it was based on his altercation with my father when I was a little boy, or just he disliked me, my mum's siblings. He tended to, single me out on a lot of occasions, like for when I'm a young boy going to school. He'd always find money to give I'm the younger sibling out of the boys. There's 7 of us, mum's kids, and he's only got a young person, my sister, younger than me, but he seemed to always never have money when it comes to me, so everyone he can find a pound or 2 or 5 or whatever to send him to college and to school. But with me, he never found money. And what used to really bother me, which to me was very mentally disturbing, was that he'd sometimes bring out notes, like cash notes, and he'd say he got no change. But I was old enough to go to the shop and buy my rhubarb and custard sweets, my sweet peanuts or whatever I wanted, because those days, you like your rhubarb and custard, your bonbons and that. He wouldn't give me a note to say, go buy it and come back. So those things used to bother me as a little youth, because I knew he didn't like me much. Do you get me? So mum would have to try to drop. My mum would find a little change to give me, and those things were kind of things that kind of spurred me out to start just doing my own little thing and really wilding out. Just times he'll hit me, he'd beat me for things that I didn't do, but it was me as well at the same time. I never used to tell my mum about certain things neither. And even when he would say things and it wasn't true, and I'm not saying all the time I was innocent, because sometimes I would do mischievous in the house. But sometimes things weren't true. I wouldn't even tell my mum that it's not true neither. Because I built up a situation where I wasn't talking. And something I always tell to young people, that they should always talk. When you got problems, always talk your problems. Like, don't hold it in. You get me? But again, I live in a community, and especially in the Caribbean community, I would say a lot of young kids, not all, but you have young kids, especially in my household, there was a thing where know your place, know when to talk, or don't talk when adults are talking, and those kind of things we'll say to kids. And sometimes not knowing it, this happens in every community. Think about it. Psychologically, a lot of people don't realize when you tell a child not to talk, or to be quiet, or sometimes parents say to you, be quiet, don't talk, adults are talking, or it kind of messes you mentally as well at the same time, because then you kind of don't want to talk as well at the same time. You get me? But then with my mother, she wasn't a bad person to say I couldn't talk to her, because in fact she was very open to me, but I just wouldn't talk. I wasn't that kind of person, so I always encourage young people to talk, to find a way to express yourselves. And talk to somebody. If you can't talk to your parents, talk to somebody. You get me? Let people know what's going on in your mind, because when you bottle up emotions, that shit's dangerous. Do you get me? Because then where's all that energy go, and how do you, expel that energy when you bottle it up? Do you get what I mean? So for me, I bottled up a lot, and that triggered me when I was in junior school to fight and to be mischievous and, you know, then look attention elsewhere and find other places where I can actually express myself and, you know, and of course it wasn't in a positive way. I was very angry at school. I remember seeing this white lady at school. She was a teacher, and it's funny about this woman. She was such a nice woman, but I wasn't talking to her. It's only now I'm older I realised the psychiatrist I was seeing, because I was always like in a mischief and getting problems at school. And you know, again, that's me not opening up and just keeping everything in. Do you get me? So I'm just running rings around her when she's talking, asking questions. And when she'd asked me about my home life, which what the truth was, I was never rude to my mother anyway. So there was never a thing where social services need to get involved at that time anyway, because my home life was good in that sense. That my mother, there was respect for my mother always, but my stepfather I disliked. And I guess deep down when I look at it, I think because of my love for my mother, I didn't want to disturb the situation at home anyway. So sometimes I just would take certain things and allow certain things to happen. But again, like I said, it's very unhealthy to do that. You know what I mean? I mean, you have adults who don't talk how they feel. They get into situations, they don't speak how they feel. And that's negative in itself. Do you know what I'm saying to you? If you don't talk what you feel, and if you're wrong, it's good to express yourself, then you can be corrected, but at least you've expressed yourself. But when you don't express yourself, you're always wondering, how do you let this happen? Or why did you let this happen? Do you get me? And that's just negative energy. That's not good for you. It's low vibration. It's not good for the mind. And so yeah, those little things, if I say little things, I should say those things really had a massive impact on my life as a youth. And from junior school, I remember my stepfather beat me in a cricket boot. You know, cricket boot's got the spikes. Yeah, he whacked me in a cricket boot as a little youth. You know, and yeah, I went through a lot of things in my life. I used to have a lot of anger against him. And like I said, I won't really talk. And then
so you're trying to spend a lot of time out of home while all this sort of going on?
Nah,
you spend time in the streets?
I spent a lot of time at home at the same time. I spent a lot of time at home. I was like 8 at the time, I spent a lot of time at home. But it was a situation where I'll be in my room or my friends will be around, or do you get me? But it's like that, you know, that's that pent up frustration you got in it. Do you get me? Because you're not expressing yourself and you're not talking to people about how you feel. So whenever this little situation happens, whether at school or after school, another school, some other school kids, I'm quick to flip in it, because it's like there's a place for me to channel that energy, that anger.
Yeah.
You know, and then people would just see it as, yeah, man can handle himself, or you get me, but it wasn't really just that, it was more, I had anger issues. Do you get what I mean? But I was just containing it for you know what you say, the right moment, but really the wrong moment, because there should never be a moment where I need to express myself like that if I knew how to channel my emotions. Because when I look at it, I was never taught as a young person at home, and most people ain't taught how to do their emotions. I had no understanding of emotional control. Do you get me? Because school never taught me about emotional control as a youth. You get what I'm saying to you? Junior school ain't teaching about emotional control, how to control your emotions. Sadly, in the home, I wasn't taught about emotional control. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And in the Caribbean community, you grow up hearing things like, you know, man up. Or even, I mean, every community we hear, like, a little child might drop on the floor, you see, whether it's black or white community, you hear people say, oh, don't cry, man up, you know, don't cry, you're okay. But I mean, I've hurt myself. I've dropped on the floor, I've hurt myself, you're telling me not to cry.
Yeah.
So therefore, you're numbing my emotions. So sometimes we don't realise the things we say to young people, how much it has an effect on young people. You see what I'm saying to you? And that's the deeper psychology, looking at it as a grown man now, seeing it from a different perspective. That the things we say to young kids, you know, don't cry, you drop on the floor, don't cry, okay, you're alright, brush it off, come clean your clothes, and all this kind of stuff. That's unhealthy, really, because you're telling me I mustn't cry. I just hurt myself.
Yeah. And
we do it in not just the Caribbean community, we do it in every community. Everyone does it. Literally, your child drops you, get up, don't cry. Like you're okay. I ain't okay. I just hurt myself. But you're telling me not to express my hurt. Yeah. That's psychologically crazy. You're just telling me not to deal with my emotions. And we don't realise that in society, because we're not looking at it from that perspective. As adults, we're like, maybe we're thinking, oh, it's embarrassing our child's crying, we don't want people to think our child's hurt, or whatever the reasons we tell our children. But a lot of us do. Men and women say, kids, don't cry, or you're okay. The child's not okay. You just said, I hurt myself, but you're saying you're okay. Do you get me? So, and again, it's not bad, but it's not that it's bad parenting, it's the way we look at things. We actually don't realise that the way we talk to our young children, we kind of numb them ourselves. We numb them from certain things, certain emotions.
Yeah.
So therefore, as I'm saying, the lack of emotional control, learning about emotional control is something, it's a widespread thing. Do you get me? It transitions beyond communities and boundaries, but it's just something that's very unhealthy. You know, and so all these situations, when I think about it, looking back in it, you know, using my intelligence, my my emotional intelligence today, at all the things I went through as a youth, I realised that there's a lot of things that happened around me that wasn't good for me mentally. Do you get me? You could do two things. You can either become an introvert or extrovert. I was an introvert with regards to where I held my, not talking about my feelings, but my actions was very extrovert, like really extrovert. I exploded. By the time I reached 11, first high school, I was just deep into road. I was deep into road. Me and my friend South Kill, we were deep into road. You know, people were getting, you know, there's petty robberies happen. People were getting their little chains taken. We're fighting. We're going to other areas. We're doing madness. You get me? I'm 11. I'm at raves and parties.
Smoking and drinking and.
Smoking. I started smoking my first cigarette. I was 8 years old, bro. Like 11, we were smoking weed, bro. Like, it's real talk. We were smoking weed. Like, it's not nothing to be proud of. I stopped smoking now. I don't smoke. When I went to prison, I haven't smoked. So I smoked for 20 years. But from 11, I was smoking weed. Was smoking. That was nothing. I mean, I was smoking some good weed, some Asher, them thing there, from Rocky back in the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Seal. I was smoking hard from I was a little boy. But it's like, it's a mad, when I look back in it, like, the anger I had in me and the frustration, the lack of emotional control led me down a crazy path. Because I got booed at 4 high schools. I went John Kelly High School first at age 11. Got booed out there for violence. We was warring against some Asian guys. And just smash up their car and everything. It was crazy. Battered them. It was mad. We were young boys. I'm in my school uniform. That's how I got expelled, because I'm in my uniform going crazy. And I got laughed at it now, because I look at how much anger issues I had. Pent up anger, frustrated, for many different reasons. Like I said, even looking back at the small things that we're getting told not to cry over things, and all these things numb your mindsets. I'm not saying it doesn't work for every child. I'm not saying every child will become violent, but I'm saying the things I went through, the physical abuse I was given by my stepfather, the psychological abuse I went through, where him not wanting to give me money, and even if he did give me, there was a reluctance in his face, there was a look in his eyes, there was a, do you get me? Now you can read body language, you're too young to understand what you're reading, but you're feeling, this guy don't like me.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I had so much different things beating at me mentally. You know, my mum was amazing, she loved me to bits, but I guess she was also blinded by the love she had for him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that's what I'm saying, man, like...
First arrest and stuff like this?
My first arrest is 11.
11, and what was that for?
That was for robbery. My first name was robbery, and I got off that. I was arrested quite a few times. I was arrested for weed and caution at 11. I was arrested quite a few times over here still, for robbery, theft, carrying a knife. Yeah, quite a few things still. But it was like, just to continue with school, I went from John Kelly to Hampstead High School, got booed out there again for violence. Like, I lost it in front of my mother. I was already suspended, and I had to come back to see what's going to happen with me. And then some boy bounced into my mother. Again, it was an accident. In my mindset now, I look at it, it was an accident. You know when kids come out of a class, lunchtime, the bell goes, everyone runs down. Naturally, everyone runs out. It's the standard, isn't it? But, you know, and I'm saying it's cash today, because that's how it is. It literally is standard. But in my anger, he bounced my mum in it. And in my mind, like, that's a no-go. I ran him downstairs, flying kicked him, and just started whacking him up. Instant expulsion. And from there, it was like, went to Elstone, same thing happened. Got expelled. Then Elstone joined South Kilburn and Brosley Park to become Queen's Park. We have Queen's Park Community College school now. And so I got booed like that for severe violence. A boy's ears started bleeding. Yeah, we smashed the hell out of him and his brother, and that was over stupidity as well. When I look in it, that could have been avoided if I had the mindset I have today. This is what I want young people to understand. I'm not going to glorify the things I've done. And when I laugh, it's not because I'm laughing because I remember it and enjoy it. It's that I'm thinking, wow, was I really like that? Like, was I really like that? Psychologically, was I that angry and that damaged? Do you get what I mean? A lot of people are damaged in many different ways, whether they use in a violent way or they be manipulative or, you know, or whatever, or bitter, or... I just feel like it's so important to reflect on self. You know, like, life is so... You only have one life. Like, reflect on it. Make the best of it. Do you get what I mean? And for me, it was one of the situations where I was young and not have the right guidance. I didn't have someone telling me what I'm telling you today on the camera. I wish that someone was saying these things to me, because it's crazy when I look back. Like, when I got put out of school, the last school, we could have easily changed this whole dynamics of what happened. You know, guy, I mean, literally beat him till his ear started bleeding. Do you get what I mean? And his eye, he got partial loss in the eye of sight. We could have avoided that. We could avoid that because it was over stupidness. It's over literally £1. Well, a few quid, but it was £1 really. We were paying £1 a wall. My mate, he lost all his pounds. So he went to say he could borrow some money from his friend, which he didn't borrow. He actually took it from a classmate, took money from him. So the classmate's brother at the end of the school came up to my mate and was saying, listen, you robbed my brother. And he had all right to say that, because he had all right to be angry. In fact, he had all right to do what he wanted to do. But me and my mates, in our anger, we saw it as a violation. And straight away we just attacked him and his brother. You know, and just smacked the shit out of him. But the thing is, we all had money. We all had a little hustle going on. Because we're 14 and we're known in Wolf of Sunderland. The guy I'm talking about, like, he knows who he is. We were known in Wolf of Sunderland, to get me. We were really known. Our little syndicate was known throughout Hars and Stonebridge Church Road. We were known, you know. And that time the name of the crew wasn't what it became, you know, because it became known as Kickoff Head Crew after, but it wasn't known as that before. We were just a bunch of users running around, friends, doing our thing. From, you know, like I said, from Stonebridge, go back down to South Kilburn. And it was a madness that we allowed the lack of insight or foresight to really, again, but then we was young and angry and it always has our own problems. But we allowed lack of insight and foresight to cause us to be so violently to these two guys. But really, the guy was in his right to ask. In fact, if I was, like I said, if I was in the mindset I was in today, like I wrote in my autobiography, my book, what I wrote about my life, I said in my book, I would have gave the guy some money. I said, cool, because I could have easily given the guy £10 or £20, whatever, because we had that money. You get what I'm saying? That's only two £10 bills. I could have easily said, listen, here, we'll hold some weed, take some weed, so about that. You get what I'm saying? Here, you get what I mean? Or even give him money and give him a bag of weed and say, yo, call it a day, apologies, I'll still be at school, my mate will still be at school, and do you get what I'm saying? This wouldn't happen.
Hindsight.
Yeah, the hindsight and the foresight, bro, we had none of it. And this is the thing, a lot of us don't even realise that. We do things and you can't, once you do it, you can't take it back. Do you get what I'm saying? So, this is the same for a lot of young nowadays. They do things and then they end up going in prison. You know, even adults, relationships, men might say something to women say something to men, they break up, they realise that, oh shit, if I kept my mouth shut or if I hold it. Sometimes we just got to think before we do. Do you get what I'm saying? And sadly, and that boils down back to what I was talking about, emotional intelligence. No one taught me about emotional intelligence, bro. No one taught me that. And it's something that I do a lot when I teach young people today. I teach them about emotional intelligence. You know, because we lack that from many forms. I mean, you've got people in university, degrees, doctors who don't know nothing about emotional intelligence. For life to hook, it's so easy.
I read a book on it a couple of years ago, emotional intelligence.
It's important, bro. It's so important.
I didn't have any.
Listen, a lot of us haven't, bro, and it's not something that to look down on yourself, but it's something that once you hear about it, start reflecting, start checking it, how do you make your life better?
100%.
You know, and that's what I done, and I can't say I regret what happened or I wish it never happened. It happened, and I can't take it back. But what I can do is know that for all the wrongs I've done, how can I make my life better for myself and for those whoever I've encountered in the past, whether they see this or they've heard me in the past, they can say, wow, like there are individuals who in this current time know things that I've gone through with them and are now friends with me, in spite friends have been lost to the situation, but they respect the person I am today.
Absolutely. Do
you get what I mean? And I think that's really important, that don't, because some people say to you, oh, do you want forgiveness of things you've done, and I'm like, nah, I don't want forgiveness, because that's just a word. Everyone can say, oh, forgive me. You forgive them tomorrow, they go do some next bullshit. Do you get me? I don't want forgiveness. I want to show people I am a different person. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm a different man. But yeah, from 15, from high school, 14, do that my last high school, Queen's Park, I've gone into, again, I've been arrested for robberies a couple of times after that. But it was one of the main robberies that I didn't do this one. This is a fact, I didn't do this one. They claimed I did an armed robbery in a shop. Because they want me a lot. The police want me bad. Like, they used to walk and call my name. I'm like, Get me? Like, you don't know them, you're not friends. But they really wanted me until they said I did the armed robbery. And the day they said that I did the armed robbery, I was actually on an ID parade in Brixton. You know, so my alibi was the police. Imagine my alibi being the 5-0. Jake's is my alibi where I got off this case. So I was like, shh. Like, Mum said, no way you're staying here no more. Like, you got to go to Jamaica. But before that happened, she sent me to Jamaica anyway. Because I went to Jamaica 3 times in 1 year. 3 times and I couldn't settle down. The first time I went there, I had problems with the biggest drug man's son. And I ended up busting his head. Because he just, that's lacking emotional intelligence. It was over one situation. I'm with a girl, he liked the girl. I'm a foreigner, so you get me. She kind of tipped to me, looking good. I had my Patrick Ewing's wearing, you know, the days of Patrick Ewing's was busting, and had my nice clothes and a couple gold, and you get me, English accent. She's like, yo, I like the thing. So me and her talking, this yard used to come over, started chatting rubbish. Then he said to her, this idiot fire. Oh my God, he called me an idiot. That's what read to my mind. He called me an idiot. I don't care anything else. You call me an idiot. I walked the girl home because I promised to. I came back because my family owned a bar, like a shopping bar. I picked up a bottle. I laced him. I didn't even go, no talking, because that's not my style. I slapped him straight with it. Psh. It was war after there. Smashed the hell out of him. Then Mum's like, got to come out to England, because who should we find out who it was? I came out to England. Got myself more in trouble with the police. Had to go back again. She says, I'll tell her I'll make it work this time. No, I didn't. I got more problems. I re-encountered with him. It was a madness. Then some next ever people I was beefing with. I just started crazy. Being a madness in Jamaica was just going on. Wild. And then it's like, my mum said to me, all right, you know what? Back to the UK. I went back to Jamaica. No, that's when the police came. And then she's like, that's when the police came for the Brixton police ID situation. And she's like, no, you have to make it work this time. Like, you can't stay here. And even during the second time it happened, I had to come back to England because of robbery charge. Because I ran for a robbery charge. And it's madness on that as well, because my mum, this robbery charge, this lawyer said, I'll bust it. This is before the ID parade in Brixton. The lawyer said, I'll bust it. And then Mum said, okay, bring him back. Because she's willing to risk her freedom so I can be in Jamaica. Do you get me? Yeah. So I put my mum in jeopardy. You get what I'm saying? So all that, I was going to throw mum's life in jeopardy just because of my inability to look after, to control myself emotionally and mentally. You know, and you know how do you think she feels well knowing her son's going through so much, but he's not telling why he's doing it? I'm running from home as well as a little boy. I'm not telling him I'm 12, 13, running from home. I'm not saying why I'm doing it. Even though the first time I did it was because my stepfather looked at me in the car and said to me, he goes to me, I got out of prison, and he said to me, I got out of prison, and the more dash with the key with you, because the house is better without you. Along them lines. I didn't know what to say. I was now I just looked at him. Didn't know if to get angry, not to be sad. I just got out of the car and walked. Do you get me? And that's a shitty thing to say to someone, that you're supposed to be a guide and a guardian over. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And that was the first day I ran from home, and that's why I kept running from home all the time. You know, real talk, I just kept running from home all the time. So it just reached a stage where, now if I got beaten, it didn't bother me. Nothing bothered me. I just didn't give a shit. Do you get what I'm saying to you? As much as I didn't give a shit, in reality I did, because I loved my mum deeply and dearly. I knew she loved me, but I would never really tell her everything was going on. Because even when I first went home, I did tell her that. He said what he said to me in the car. I just left it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I was that bottled up with my emotions. I didn't talk. That's why I always encourage young people to talk, because that shit really messed me up. By not talking how I really feel, messed me mentally up. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what happened in my personal life as a youth. Growing up and do a lot of mentoring with young kids and even parents, like I mentor families too. I see a transition between men and women in relationships, where a man feels like he doesn't trust his woman and it causes argument the kid sees. I've been through different various cases with families. Then a woman feels like the husband's abusing her, but she doesn't tell no one what's going on in the home. My personal experience of bottling up my shit, I see it transpire into other people's actions for different reasons. And I can always tell when I'm dealing with family dynamics, when I mentor young people, and especially because I don't like to mentor young people that work with their parents as well. I think it's more powerful, because then you get to understand the dynamics of what's going on in the family home. And I just see that pattern of people not expressing how they feel, it's dangerous.
Of course.
It's dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing. To do that, to bottle up your emotions, it's mad dangerous. So anyway, so me.
So you've ended up out in Jamaica. While you were out there, were you staying with family out there?
Yeah,
family out
about
there,
it. My
cousins?
mum's really from Jamaica. She's from Kingston, she's from East Kingston.
Yeah.
But what it was, because of my violence, and then I went to New York as well. I forgot to mention I went to New York at the age of 14. I felt kicked out of high school, my last high school. I was 15. I went to New York, 14. And mum was like, nah, she wouldn't be staying in New York, but because my cousins were, you know, they were, one of my cousins was real street.
Yeah.
She was like, nah, man, New York's not for you. You get me? Because then it's gonna be wild for you. So
even worse.
Like, yeah, it'd be worse. So she's like, nah. So, but I was in family in Jamaica, but it wasn't her family. So from the get-go, I didn't like the people I was staying with because she asked me to stay. My stepfather was from country, St. Anne's. She asked me to stay with she asked his family I could stay with them. But because my dislike for him, naturally, I'm not going to want to be around him.
Yeah.
It's a natural barrier I put up. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. And I mean, even adults do the same thing even today. If you have a dislike for somebody, you kind of feel reluctant not to deal with their people because you don't know how to take them.
Oh, definitely.
And that's just me. As a young you, I felt like that. And so I was going through a lot of grown-ass emotions when I look at it, what grown-ass people do. I was going through it as a little boy. And so I went there, I didn't really take for them from the beginning. So, and I won't say everything was all about them because they were a bit messed up people, they were a bit messed up like him. But some of them were nice, but I just couldn't let them in. So that didn't work for me neither. So I was even, I had problems with them as well. And it was just mucky. And but the little time when I did go there after the police situation with Brixton Police Station, being my alibi when Queen's Park and Hampstead Police came for me, what I ended up doing was making it. I was 2016. I made the transition to be in Jamaica. And I said to Mum, I promise I'll make it work. So I tried. 2016 to 2019. I mean, not 2016. What's the name? I was 16 years old to 19. That was 1990. It was 1990 to 94. I came by 94. 91, beginning 91 to 94.
Yeah.
Because 1990 to 91, I kept going down 3 times, and 1991 to 94, that's when I came back 94. And the 3 and a years bit I was down there, I created mayhem down there.
So you weren't working no legit job and doing anything sensible?
Now I was supposed to go to school, but because I had the altercation with that drugs man son, he went to his high school I was supposed to go to. So we had an altercation on the beach. After that first altercation, when I went down to Jamaica, because the second time I had an altercation with him again. He bumped me on the beach with a couple of his friends, and because of the big drugs man son, I had my friends, but they're idiots. They weren't standing up for me, innit? They took to the sea, and I said about in my book, they took to the sea. They were cowards. So I took the ramble knife of one of them, and I was like, I'm gonna walk up there myself, and you know, it is what it is. It's not the first man I'm gonna poke. I'm gonna poke one, because the ramble knife had the jagged ram, the ramble knife has a compass on top of it.
Yeah.
It was one of them. So I knew if I put it in you, I'm pulling out a piece of your organs. So I was like, come on, going. So when I was gonna go up there now, everyone's trying me, don't go. But they already knew that they just call me Rudy down there, innit? Because they know that's what they call me Rudy, because they're like, this English you can handle this business. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I went down there, and but there's a coolie guy who ended up supporting me, saving me. They call him Mr. Jump. He ended up saying to them like, what's going on with the foreigner? They're like, you know, he had a problem with so top drugs my son and this and that. So I said, yeah, is it? No, he goes, is it? He goes, come. So he really walked up, ready to defend the thing. The guys weren't having it. They weren't looking to beef with him, because he was this coolie, like Indian looking guy, you get me? But he was rude boy, can handle his business, big man still. You get me? So me and him walked up there, and I thought to myself, I'm never walking out these weak hearts again. So I went up there with him, we walked past them, nothing happened out of it. But because me and the guy went to the same school, I didn't really spend much time in school. And to be honest, I didn't give a damn for school anyway. So it was like double the bubble. He was at the school, there's no one going to be in the same school with him, we're going to be beefing there, I'm going to kill him in school, he's going to kill me. It's bottom line, there's no other way around it. You know, the reality is death is the be-all and the end-all. I just knew it. You get what I'm saying to yourself? Forget this school. And plus, I didn't care for school anyway, to be honest. I was in that frame of mind, I didn't care for school. So I just spent a lot of time just chilling and just doing my own thing.
What, on the streets and that in
Yeah,
Jamaica?
yeah, doing my own thing. Like the stepfather family just they didn't know what to do with me because again I didn't listen to nobody. Like mum not there, so mum sent my little sister down to hopefully that would calm me down, innit? So her life was messed up because of me, because she had no problems in England. She had to leave England, come to Jamaica, and mum give me some responsibility. It will settle me down, but do you understand? It didn't. I kind of made my own way to Kingston, and I found my own family. And then I made my own way to. I just started running. I made a lot of friends, and then I just started running wild in Kingston, Spanish Town. And because at that time I knew a lot of reggae artists as well. You know, there's artists that I knew that are very popular artists, reggae artists. I knew them in Spanish Town and Kingston. You know, I would visit them, and you know, I'd get dub plates from them, and I'd sell it to sounds, and I was just doing my own thing. I was literally doing my own thing. I was supposed to go to college. I didn't go there, so I go to college. I'd go chill out with my mates around the go-go club. You hear me? Like I was just a wild child, but I got myself in a lot of problems during those 3 years. A lot of problems. Like in St Anne's, there's a police called Pepsi Killer. Because every time police want to kill people, he'd bottle of Pepsi like that. And the same cold but there, and throw it on people every time he killed his victims. And I had a problem with his niece because some situation she thought she could talk to me like I'm an idiot, and I just I did something a bit crazy, and then. He threatened to kill me, and I said, whatever, man, I don't give a fuck. So that was the situation. I had next problem with next little police, a few other police down St Anne's. I got myself some mad altercations in town, like crazy ones, like madness, because I got myself into a lot of problems in Jamaica still, you know, because once a crime, still a crime, so I'm not going to go into details, you get me? But there was people knew that I was...
Was there gunplay in that around you?
In Jamaica, there was a lot of gunplay in Jamaica, you get me? Like, to be honest, like, you know what I'm saying, Jamaica, in the city, King City and Spanish Town, that gun culture is you get me, it's a big thing. So I got myself into situations, you get me, and the people I was hanging around with were known for certain situations, you get me? So it's like, I wasn't the wisest at choosing best companies, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not saying my friends are bad neither, because I don't want to think I'm saying that they were bad. They live in a certain environment, in certain situations, that's a part of their life. Do you get me? So it's natural.
Were you becoming part of the gangs and that? Sorry to interrupt you. And like the posses as such?
You see, when I become part of the gangs and posses, to tell the truth, I was I rode with certain people who people label them in gangs, and people might label them in gangs, but like for instance, an altercation happened in St Anne's with two of my friends. I talk about in my book one thing called Hatted. He come up with a place called Jerusalem. I call him Hatted in the book because I don't want to say his real name, because he is at current a wanted guy in Jamaica. So I don't use the name in my book. I call him Hatted. And his cousin is from Jungle, a place called Jungle. You know, Arnett Garden. These are my friends of from road, you know. So the character of these guys are very known to doing, you get what I'm saying, to put in work, and these are the people I worked with. So people, it wasn't really rocket science for people to work out what I was used to get up to in Jamaica, because bear in mind I'm from foreign, I'm in English. And when you have problems like with anything, you have problems in your area, it's sometimes an out of port face is good. I'll just leave it there. Sometimes an out of port face is good to take care of situations. So my situation was like, I was a youth growing up, and I got myself into things that I shouldn't have got myself into, but it's where my mind was at, you know. And when I was in St Anne's, you know, even down there, when I was in St Anne's, there was been a side scheme one time, and I'll never forget. There's been a side scheme. This is during the 3 years I was down there. There's been a side scheme, and then there's the guys who were doing security. Side scheme is like a scheme, housing scheme, housing project. And it's a side scheme down in Remarkably. The guys who were controlling it all had licensed firearms, of course, because you're controlling the housing scheme that's getting built. So that they have to make sure no one don't go into the house and squat and everything else. But we knew some of them guys in there, because they were 90% of them were from town. So we knew one or two of them. One was from Jungle, and a few other place, one was from Greenwich Farm. And we knew them, innit? So got friendly with them. So everybody started saying we had illegal firearms over there. But the police in the local community, the local police couldn't do nothing about it neither, because the fact that these guys are licensed firearm holders, and they were security guards, they couldn't say whether the guns over there were legal or legal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they haven't the right to go over there to search, because these guys are security.
Okay.
You know, so on that note, people were saying a lot of things about us in St. Anne's, about myself and my friends, that we had, you know, that thing, you had legal firearms. And I'm not going to test and say we did. I'm not going to say we did. I just don't even get involved with what people say. I let them say it. It's like, people say things even in regards to like where we are in Stonebridge here. Down the road from here was Howes and High Street. I'm in Church Road. The police claimed one day that I pulled a fire on them, just down the road from here. Police claimed it. I ain't saying it. I will tell you what the police, because I talk about my book, but this is the police's story, not mine. I just checked a friend of mine in Church Road. He's doing very progressive stuff right now in Church Road. He runs an organisation in Church Road. He works with young people. Very good guy. Now, I'm just finished linking him for specific reasons. The police say it's a random search, random random stop search of a car, which I was in.
And what age were you alleged at this time?
This time I had.
So this is when you just got back from Jamaica after them times?
Yeah. I just came back because I was 19. Because if I hadn't gone to that still, I was 19. I had to come back here, innit? Because I went there, like I said, I was 16. I spent 3 years. I came back. I was 19. Yeah.
Is there any sort of major reason why you came back at 19?
Yeah, because do you remember this? I told you about the altercation with the guy that with me and the biggest drug man son.
Yeah, so it ended up escalating throughout the whole time.
No, what happened? The same guy who, well, like I said, there's a lot of rumours about me in different situations, and police saying we had firearms and St. Anne's, and then there was people in Kingston I had problems with as well because I was doing stuff in Kingston. I was getting involved in things I didn't need to get involved in Kingston and Spanish Town. And then what happened is.
So the boy's dad was a known drug lord.
Yeah, in St. Anne's, big drug lord. Big, he's known now as a big drug lord.
What's his name? Did you say?
No, I won't say his name. I don't want to. It's not like opening can of worms.
Of
you
course.
Get me? But it's like what happened is me and the same guy who I said saved my life on the beach, the cooler guy, the Indian guy, we ended up having an altercation ourselves because again he upset my brethren them. Well, he set me and my brethren them still, but my brethren don't know him in it, so they was gonna kill him. So I didn't kill him. I just gave him a couple of cuts. Do you get what I'm saying? But I did it in front of a big crowd. Cause we was all drunk, we was all high. Everyone's on weed, everyone's smoking, everyone got a lot of liquor down us. And he being coolly like Indian looking, long hair. I grabbed him by his hair and pulled him down. And I took my brethren's 3-star knife off him. 3 stars like a Jamaican ratchet. It's got 3 stars on it. So 3-star ratchet off him and I bust it. And everyone thought I was stabbing, but I didn't. I just gave him a couple of big slices in his back, and then pushed him off. And then and then kept him away from my friends because my friends still tried to kill him. Because my brethren, like I said, I used to probably some really wild dudes. The environment they lived in allowed them to be how they were. It's the circumstance they was born in. You get what I'm saying? When you live in certain garrisons in Kingston, finding a job is like 0 chances in certain garrisons. You get me? It's hard to get jobs. Money's not easy to get. So a life of violence and crime is a must. And plus you got to protect the neighbourhood as well, because in Jamaica you have garrisons, and certainly like over here people say gang stuff. Jamaica's a bit different. You really have to protect your neighbourhood. You get me? Because politics, whether it's Labour and PNP politics or it's actually just gang politics, so you have to protect the garrison. So some people, it's just not that they get up and want to be violent. It elevate them from poverty, elevate them from the suffering of not having the prospects to get a job. And I guarantee they will do different in their lives. Does that make sense? It's like putting it's like leaving all 3 of us in a room with no food and then throwing a piece of chicken in a month later. No matter how we're in here talking, we're friends, we're going to fight for that piece of chicken. You get what I mean? And that situation, the garrisons, if their people are broke, the reality is alleviate the poverty in it. Yeah. Give people opportunities, give them a chance, and then you'll see them strive. But after that, people are going to try to force them, find other ways. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's not about judging the people, my people, or judging youth in the ghetto of why they live. It's look at this construct that's designed for them. You get me? I like to do, like I said, look at the things more emotionally, more intelligent. And to realise that this the way the system's set for certain youth is not too good. So for me, with my situation, when I came back, like I said, I came back 19. After all that, so me and a coolie guy got happened. I cut him up, and everyone saying, "Listen, I've got away with too much." People wanted him to charge me. He said, "No, I'm not charging you," because he knew me well and we was friends. By that time, he was all drunk, and he's a rude boy. He's a bad boy. He's a bad man from St Mary's, isn't it? He's not no either. He's a bad man from St Mary's, and he in his mind is like, he's not gonna charge me because man, I'm not informer. He's not an informer. So he's like, "Blood, yo, I rate your thing, and I know what you're about. You don't know what my bridge name still, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna now I'm gonna charge you." And go on back for him, but you get me, he's like to me, boy, enough people they don't like you, but I already knew that. You get me? I know enough people that like me sinners because like I said, I had friends coming down there from town, finding girls down there, jamming down there and keep up their own madness. So they didn't like that. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Yep.
So it's like I ain't not come back to England, so I was at 19, my mum dies on me.
So you must have been double wild when you come back to England now, like even after 3 years in Jamaica causing havoc. It's,
yeah, you know what?
Thinking obviously.
But you know what though? I'll be
London
honest with you, when I came back to England, right, I was actually gonna chill, you know. My mum died on me. She died on me because I seen her from South. Remember, I seen my mum since I was 15.
Rest in peace.
15, thank you, bro. 15, I seen her. I left Jamaica, left England, gone to Jamaica. 15, I just turned 16, 10 and 16. And then she dies on me. You get me? Like, she died on me. If she brought me back to England, she died on me. And that kind of got me angry and allowed me to just... And when the anger comes in, your mind's confused, trouble set like rain in it. I started just wilding out again. Slowly got caught back up in some things. But I had a beautiful woman in my life at that time. And was trying to make things work. But at the same time, I was dabbling with the streets, and that's when me and my friends got together again. I used to party with, like I said, my school friends.
Yep. From
Stonebridge, Church Road and Kilburn. We all started partying again. And I was rolling with them, plus I was rolling the original Kilburn set of man. Because I was rolling different people, you get me? I was a man doing my own thing no matter what. I was a man, I know how to handle my own business. So I was just about doing different things, and I was trying to do positive at the same time, but I was doing negative too. You get me? And I was doing a lot of negative. You know, not to go into details about things, but I was doing a lot of negative. But that's when the altercation happened with me and these youths around here in Church Road. The one I was telling about the guy who's doing positiveness in Church Road now. Yeah, we had little something happen between my friends and his friends, and you know, I came to talk to him about it, but the police, they claim, again I'm saying they came, because I'm not going to sit here and say I put a fire on police. They claim that I pulled a fire on me. Them days, everyone wore baggy t-shirts, and them days, it wasn't like now we got straight, you think we wearing straight clothes now. It was baggy t-shirts, baggy jeans. So it was all big clothes in it, those hip hop days, big clothes. So I'm in a cab, leaving that Church Road after talking to my friends, ironing out situations, and then they turn around and say that it's a random check. Whether it's true or not, whether it's a random check or somebody sent it to me, do you get me? Because thinking whatever they're thinking. The police says that I jumped out the cab, because when they come pull the car up to the cab, they say I jumped out the cab and then I stuck my hand up my top like this. Because I got a big t-shirt on and my t-shirt went up far. Now I don't know if it's a finger or not, see I can drop my finger in it. But this I stuck something at them. You get me? And then they just froze. You feel me? But you know, they said I stuck something at them, looked around, this is what they said. They looked around and then they guessed maybe because it's main high street. And I don't know, I didn't want to bust it on the main high street and bait myself out, kill the police on the high street. So they say they say I stuck at them and I ran off, yeah? One other station came down, the whole place came down on me. Within, say, about 10, 15 minutes, they found me walking through the block. Right to me, BAM! Instant fighting, we just start fighting. So we start fighting, that's how I knocked out my teeth, out my mouth. You get me? I got my 2 teeth come out, boom. You get me? Then took me station. The station does that. They found a little bit of weed in me, but they could charge me. That's let me go. Because I said, listen, you're going to charge me for a little bit of weed. Because they had they searched the whole place for this firearm. And I'm like, shh, there ain't no firearm. Now they say I dashed it away. You get me? Or I gave it to somebody. I'm not, again, I've used what they said. It's, in my book, I always say they said. I'm never going to sit here and say, I put a firearm on the police. Like, I'm not going to do that. I didn't get catched for it. I'm not dumb. I'm looking for him. That's what, I'm just going by what they say. Say if I put my book, they said it. It's not me. So they claim I did it. And for me, it's like, situation is, even that though, when I look at it, mentally, where was I to allow myself to get into that situation anyway? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I had a beautiful girl, like I said, I came back to England, met a beautiful girl, why couldn't I get my act together? My mum's not too long died. I need to sort myself out, innit? Like mentally, I need to actually put myself in a better place. But that's how messed up my mind was. I look at it, there's no intelligence in that. That's actually really stupid to be getting yourself involved in street life. You got a beautiful girl, you got a child as well. I had a child as well at that time. Like, what was I thinking about? Do you get what I'm saying? So when you look at some things we do, we risk our freedom for the sake of stupidity. I'm not saying I had a firearm that day. I'm just saying the fact is, even having myself in an altercation with the police, the reality of risking my freedom when I've got a woman and a beautiful child to look after, like, what was that? That doesn't make no sense. The risk versus reward doesn't make no sense, and the reality versus illusion doesn't make no sense, because the reality is, I would have, if I did have a firearm on me, and I got caught for it, I would have got 5 years anyway. Then times it's 5 years, and then I think that they should charge you for shots. If you get fined for shots, yeah. So what I would have done all that, and lost my child and my woman for whatever, because that altercation was with somebody in Church Road. Yeah. Doesn't make no sense, like, bro. Like, when you think about the things that people risk their freedom for,
there's no sense in crime.
There's no sense in crime. That's what I'm saying. The things that people risk their freedom for, when you just have that emotional tendency to look at things properly and think, rah, that doesn't make no sense though. Like, why was you really doing that? Like, the bigger picture is, there must have been, there must be a better way of doing your work at a situation. Does that make sense? Like, resolve to violence should be the last thing. You get
Any
me?
other
Like,
way, yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be like, I just want to get violent, get stuck in. You get me? And even that, like I said, I'll never sit here and say, I actually pulled that out of the fight. You know, the only people who know the truth is me, the guy in Church Road, who you know, he knows who he is.
The fact is, you're out of control at those times.
The fact is, my mental, I was out of control. You get what I'm saying to you? And the reality is, why would I, and the police, of course, they know the truth, whether they think it is the truth. But like I said, I don't really get involved in all that. All I know is where my mentally was. Mental, to even put yourself in a predicament where that police can accuse me of anything, can't be in a good place. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I psychologically could not be in a good place if I'm in a place where they can actually accuse me of something, of doing something as mad as that, to want to pull out a firearm on them in a broad day. Do you get me? So, whether it's under my top or not, you got to be in a real mentally bad place. Mm-hmm. You get me? So for me, it's like, nah, like, I just think a lot of people really need to really analyse the things they do in life, you know, whether it's on the same scale or less or even worse. We need to really check ourselves in this society, both men and women. You know, the way we conduct ourselves. Like, are we really born for this purpose of living life crazy? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, everyone's born for a purpose. Everyone on this earth has a purpose. If you're black, white, Indian, Chinese, small, rich, poor, you all have a purpose. And I doubt anyone's purpose is to really be psychologically unhappy. That can't even be a part of your purpose of being in existence, to be psychologically unhappy. Because to do violence, crimes, those kind of things, you have to be psychologically unhappy. And if you're happy doing it, because don't get me wrong, there are pleasures. I'm not going to lie and sit here and say I never got pleasures in doing certain things when I was younger. I never got the thrill of it, knowing I could walk through certain areas in Kingston and people say, yo, gangster, why I go on? And that thrill made you feel like, oh, they see me as a... So psychologically, I got pleasure out of violence in a certain aspect, which makes you kind of morbid.
But the status and the ego and the vainess.
But all these things are negative. The status and the ego, they're all negative. They're not good energies.
Yeah.
They're not good emotions.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So you're attaching yourself to things that ain't actually really helping you to be a better in society or even be better than you. It's not bringing out the best in you, really.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? And these kind of things, like, I want to talk to young people, I do a lot of workshops, I don't even try to get into their heads and like, this don't make no sense. Like, half the things we do don't make no sense. But then, yeah, like I'm saying, so I'm here, back in England, getting into trouble, doing positive at the same time. Because I was doing music, I had my own t-shirt design, because at that time, after a while, I started growing locks. So I wanted to try to pull away from this whole street life. So I had some French white guys who loved my t-shirt design. They were going to buy my company off me. Do you get me? I was selling Rasta t-shirts, it was banging. They were going to buy my t-shirt. I had a lot of good positive things going on.
So you're proper on the rest of vibe at them times there then?
Yeah, but I was still on the streets. Yeah, but I was still on the streets. I loved the Rasta vibe when I was young.
Conflicted.
But, yeah, I was conflicted, still emotional, angry. Like, I hadn't dealt with my anger. You know, like, the thing is, in society, people wear masks, innit? You can cover yourself up, like, you can come across this lovely person, but deep down you're really angry, or you're bitter, or you're jealous, or you're grudge. These are the traits that humans carry. Shouldn't carry. It's not natural for us. Because naturally, in any whatever religion you believe in or any way of life, everyone's born happy. I mean, we've got a child. No baby's born naturally. I'll say naturally. No baby's naturally born violent. And I'll say natural. Why? Because of course, if I have a woman in my life and I nag that woman, shout at the woman, scream at her while she's pregnant, then naturally I traumatize that baby in the womb. Because anything that happens to a woman while she's pregnant affects the child, right?
Yep.
So, and if the woman's naturally upset with me, even if I'm a good guy and I'm perfectly good, but she's got emotional issues, and she's constantly screaming at people. Because again, like I said, I work with a lot of people. I'm a person. I deal with the mind thing a lot. I love psychology. I love looking at the mind because I think that's the aspect that people don't really look at, emotional control. And even the woman, if the man's done nothing wrong, the woman's unstable because of whatever she's gone through in life, and she's not allowing herself to calm and relax while she's pregnant, she's also traumatized the child. So again, a child can be born traumatized, but in a natural state of the way people were born, if I'm natural state of going back to whatever religious believe in Adam and Eve or whatever you believe in chematology or whatever, God created people to be at peace and harmony. And He wants that for us, harmony and peace. But fuck me, sorry to swear about this, we're not taught to focus on harmony and peace, we're taught to focus on bullshit. You get me? And we're letting the most futile things get us crazy, and lack of emotional control. Like I said, we've never been taught at school. I can't think of no one who tells me that they've learned how to deal with emotion at school. Like they had a big subject on emotional control and how to deal with your emotions and how to control your moods and even meditating and breathing. Maybe they might introduce it now, but back in days they weren't doing that shit with us. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So didn't know it, and it's just the wildness of life. Like I just feel like it's important that we try to really, address how we deal with things. And
of course,
me as a young person, I didn't know how to deal with things.
Yeah, so you had, like you said, you had a lot of. You'd come back from Jamaica, you had a lot of positive stuff. You're trying to be spiritual. You've got your beautiful partner. You've got a child as well.
Yep.
And so
still caught up in helping friends because again, I had a lot of misplaced loyalty, bro. Yeah. And I think this is a big problem as well. Society have a thing called misplaced loyalty. People don't understand what that means. Misplaced loyalty. You're loyal, but it's misplaced loyalty. Like my friends will have certain problems over here, and I'll be like, "That's gone. I'm coming. I've got you, bro. I shouldn't have been. I got you. I've got a child at home, and I've got a woman.
They should have had them instead.
Yeah, come on. But a lot of us do that. It's misplaced loyalty. Yeah. My loyalty to you gonna make me run out of road, do some madness. And I mean, we were doing madness, bro. Like, I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Cause man ain't gonna inform myself, but man was doing madness. We're doing
serious.
Yeah, it can get serious. Like man could be getting mad sentences. Do you get what I'm saying to you? We're doing madness, but I should be at home with my woman and child. Really? Like, who's gonna cover them? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, misplaced loyalty. We do it all the time, or even if it can be as minor things as you got a couple grand in your yard and your brother needs it because he wants to double up on his money, and you're gonna give your brother knowing that you got things to do for your family. Like, it's misplaced loyalty, and a lot of people do that. We caught up in misplaced loyalty. Even we do it even in our part in relationships. People misplaced loyalty. I just feel like we don't understand. Not just I'll say a lot of people understand what it means to really be loyal. What real loyalty is. Because first you got to be loyal to yourself. Before you can be loyal to anybody, even my partner, I have to be loyal to me. I have to be loyal to my true emotions. Because my partner might want me to do things that I don't think is good for our relationship. I don't think is good for myself. But I go along with it. You find it all the time in society. Men go along with things they don't like. Women go along with things they don't like. But that's not being loyal to you. So that in itself is misplaced loyalty. Worse, on a deeper scale, you're doing it for friends on the streets. You're going to have to do madness for what? And put your family in danger? That, whether it's physical danger, mental, emotional danger, or psychological, what the hell, what for? But we do it. In society, there's misplaced loyalty, and that again boils down to emotional intelligence. Like, emotional intelligence, a lot of things that we do triggers and falls back into emotional intelligence. Like, it's one of the biggest things in the world that people just overlook. And that's the best way to address traumas. Do you get what I'm saying? Because a lot of these things were, as a traumatized society, and we are a very traumatized society, without doubt. Without emotional intelligence, and then for lack of emotional intelligence, we start doing a lot of things. We do a lot of things that doesn't help the families, the family dynamics, and the happiness for family. So yeah, that's just me. Like I was.
So is it loyalty to your friends in the streets that sort of ended up screwing things up with that partner?
Yeah. Loyalty to the streets definitely screwed up a lot of things for me. Loyalty to the streets and loyalty to friends that I didn't need to be loyal to. And again, my misplaced loyalty caused some of my friends to be either not here today or locked up for a very long time.
So at those times there, though, you managed to avoid any sort of prison sentences in this country.
Yeah. I've never been in prison in the UK, to be honest.
Yes, swerved it all.
Yeah, I've never been in prison in the UK, so thank God. And then I went to Jamaica.
Because what made you go back out there then?
Oh, man, it was a mad one.
And what age was this roughly then? So
I came back at 19. I was on the road to 22.
Okay, so just
3
3
years,
years,
3 years.
straight back out there.
Yeah.
Was it just sort of ended with a relationship and stuff? Or?
No, I wish it was banging. That's the thing about a relationship was banging. I had a banging relationship with a beautiful woman. We had 2 children by this time. My name, something happened, and people called my name to something. Up in the countryside. And then, not wanting things to escalate or anything to go wrong, I decided that I'm going to leave the country. Do you get me? I decided I'm going to leave the country. And plus, at that time I was doing music as well. I was doing reggae music, and I was really...
So you were happy to be in Jamaica, to be doing the music?
Yeah, because reggae music, it was beneficial for me to be in Jamaica doing reggae music. But at the same time, my son as well, I wanted to get my son, I had my son in Jamaica. My first son was in Jamaica. And then I wanted to go get my name on his birth certificate. So that was the next reason why I actually went out there as well.
Yep.
To get my son's birth certificate. Plus, so it's like everything in one. I had a lot of things going on over
so
here.
you had 1 child in this country and 1 in Jamaica, or 2 children?
No, I had 1 child in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Before I came back to my partner. When I left at 19, I had a girl pregnant.
Yep, so you had 1 there, and then you ended up having 2 children
Over
while you were
here,
here.
yeah.
And
I want to bring that one over there in Jamaica, back to the UK.
Yep.
So everything kind of worked in the same thing. So me going back out there in 1998 was to deal with a bit of music. My name's called for something. I was going through a bit of madness at that time as well, mentally, because there's a lot of things going on. And then it was also to get my son as well. Do you get what I'm saying? To sort my name on my son's birth certificate. So I went out there.
It was a home from home for you anyway. You spent 3 years and did that numerous times before.
Plus, most of my friends over here were yardis as well. What they call yardis, you get me?
So people had come over here from Jamaica.
Jamaica, yeah, like Jamaica. Some people call Jamaican yardis, gang members of Jamaica. Yeah. So there's a lot of friends I had. So anyway, so I'm gone over there, 98. Went down to St Anne's. Long story short, went down to St Anne's where my son was, and then I ended up getting an altercation with some guys down there, and that's when the guy lost his life. And
can we talk about how that happened and the specifics of that occasion? Or how did this man lose his life? What sort of situation was it?
It was a situation I stabbed him twice.
Over what in the street, or was this?
To be honest with you, it was a madness because him personally, I don't even know him. That's the reality. I don't even know him. But what happened is he was with some people who knew me. There's talking a lot of madness around me. They know I'm hot-headed, innit?
And how long had you been out there, before this happened then?
I can't remember, was that a week and a half or 2 months?
So literally just got back out
Just got back out there. Went to look for my son. It was a madness. I wasn't supposed to stay in St Anne's long anyway. I just went down there. And next minute it's like I'm down there and didn't pass it any long. Altercation happens, and okay. Before let me add this to it. Before 98 when I went down there, I went down in 97 to take care of some business. Me and my friends from over here went down there. Me and 2 yard guys went down there. They met me down there. We enjoyed ourselves. They went and did what they did. I went to get some business, and then we had a little party time out there. At that same time, I bought a nice girl from Tivoli Gardens. I don't know if you hear about Tivoli Gardens. Garrison for Sharp.
Yeah, one of the most famous.
Yeah, my family are connected to people in Tivoli. I have a family who's connected to people in Tivoli. I went down to Tivoli with my people, and then I bought a girl from Tivoli. Really pretty, gorgeous girl. Yeah, when the boss man down there gave her, kind of like, you know what I mean? Give me the okay for be with her still. So I'm with her now, and this is the part of the thing that caused my problem in 98. Because again, this is me, emotional intelligence. I've got a beautiful woman back in the UK. But again, you know, the road thing, you come with girls and all the kind of hype and all the stupidness. I bought this girl. I've spent a week in Jamaica. I promised my baby mother that I'm going to come visit her, the one in St Anne's. I didn't go. Because I went there for a week in 97, and I got this pretty Tivoli girl with me. Beautiful, gorgeous girl. So I'm like, yo, my thing is nice. You get me? I'm going on a whole different life now. I'm just forgetting about what I went to visit my son, gave him gold, gave him his clothes, gave him. But I did.
Blinded by this.
Yeah, but I didn't spend time with him like I should have. Do you get what I'm saying? I got caught up with this girl in town for this week. I was there. Again, it's all about emotional intelligence and this lack of understanding of self-worth. I didn't understand. I misplaced loyalty, everything. I didn't understand my loyalty should be to my son. I've come down for a week. I had things to do, business. I had business, like road business. But I should have promised. I promised my baby mama, even though I went with her and she knew I had a woman again in England. I told her I would spend a couple of days with her. Well, the rules in my book, I'm not hiding. I'm just being honest. I didn't spend no days with her. I didn't spend no time with her. The day I landed, I went to her, gave her the stuff, had sex with her, and I left the country. No, I mean left and went to town. Not the country, just went to town. On the day I'm leaving the country, I went park because I went to St. Anne's. The day I'm leaving the country, I went down to St. Anne's now to say bye and everything. But I brought the table to go with me. Not smart at all. So not only did I mess up my baby back home, the one in England, not only did I mess the beautiful home I had with her and the beautiful 2 children in '97, not only because I cheated on her, so I'm using my brain for my penis, not my brain for my head. I set my baby over, plus I took this girl from Tiffany down there. So that's just the dumbest thing I can ever do. Like I'm laughing, not at myself, like I'm laughing with pride. I'm laughing at the emotional intelligence of looking at how stupid was I. Yeah. Right now I've got some beauty for my life. These kind of things I wouldn't even think of doing. I'm too smart, too intelligent, too forward thinking, working documentaries, writing books. I have no time for that foolishness. But then time I didn't understand myself. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And I'm not going to use excuses. I was young and all this kind of thing. No, it's about emotional intelligence. It ain't about excuses. It's about emotional intelligence. I want people to gather that. But the more I'm saying it, I want to understand that decisions we make, because you got people in executive businesses making mad decisions when it comes to women and stuff. You got people who are rich people make crazy decisions. So it's not about class, race, colour, nothing. It's about decisions we make. It's so important to make the right decisions in life that don't filter on to every action has a reaction in it. So don't make decisions that's going to have a negative reaction for you. So me sleeping with my ex was a wrong move. Me bringing girl on Tiffany was a stupid, even more dumb move. So I brought this girl down. Her family, now she's not there, she's at work. I'm talking to my son. He's only 3 times there. And this girl's like, everyone, she's beautiful. I want to say dead top, she's gorgeous, bro. Like, all the people, the men of my son's family thinking she's one of my cousins, because I got my cousin with me and everything. I got friends with me. Because a lot of us went down to carry me home, because people love me, innit? They gave me some entourage going back to the airport with me. So she's just there, innit? And some man I try to chat to her, but she's like, nah, blah, like, well, I'm saying, like, everything good. She's not saying. And she started lipsing me up and kissing me and touching me up. But I did tell her the truth. I did say to her, I'm not with my baby mother. I wasn't with my baby mother. We went together. But at the same time, I know I promised my baby mother that I would spend a couple of nights, which I didn't. But I didn't think of how disrespectful it was that I brought this girl down. You get me? So, in a nutshell, my baby mother heard, innit? She heard that I had a girl down there with. And so she went nuts, because, again, her family don't like me. Because of all the stuff I was getting involved in down this and that. They didn't like me, didn't trust me, didn't deal with me. I didn't like them much neither. It's just a mad situation. So, we're not together neither, they know that. So, the fact that she squeezed her family to let me stay there for a couple of days, because I'm the father of a child, then I do that to her, that's like a stab in the back.
Yeah.
That's like a stab in the back, do you get me?
Of course.
So I admit that, like, I fucked up. But how she got me back, that was like, whoa. Like, we talk now though, we discuss it, we laugh about it, but, because I love my son, my big son Jamaican, he's a world to me. Me and him talk all the time, and we do stuff together. So she said, what happened when I went down 98 down there, that's why I said these guys had the time to. So when I went back a year later, 98, I got myself some problem over here in England. Name called and I said, let me get out of here. And, just kill a couple birds with one stone. Go to Jamaica, deal with my youth, avoid what's going on in the UK, settle down, do some music out there. Like I had a lot of entertainer friends. I'm known to a lot of Jamaican artists. I had good friends out there that are really big in Jamaican, in the reggae music. So it's like, let me go out there and just, see what I can do. I'm out there now and it's like, I go to St. Anne's, look for my son. Man, bro, this woman's nowhere to be seen for days. And I'm like, oh, you left my son with your grandfather? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm frustrated now, and that's where my anger kicks back in it. Because you're not around for about one day, okay, you don't come home. Next day you're not home. I'm like, what the fuck? So now the old me's coming back in it. The anger, the trigger. I'm getting triggered in it. So I'm getting triggered. I'm getting frustrated. That time I'm locked up. I'm getting frustrated. The anger's in. Then them times I used to walk on a knife. I've always walked on a knife when I was youth, growing up in Jamaica. Even over here, I love my shanking. I used to love boring people. That's just me. Like I had my knife in it, and I wasn't afraid to use it. You know, my tree style was. I used to walk with tree styles a lot, but because I realised as a youth, and I'll be honest, my tree style if I put my tree style in a man's shoulder or certain places, it will, or even on your body side of here, it might broke. So I used to just say, forget wearing tree style. I'm gonna carry a kitchen knife. So I just thought walking a kitchen knife is easier because it's hard to break. You get me? So I had my kitchen knife. I'm being very honest and upfront with my truth. So I had a kitchen knife on me, but I had a kitchen knife in a sheath, and I had it. But I had it to peel fruits because at that time I was a vegan because I was trying to be like Rasta. So I was trying to live a better life and let people see I'm a changed man. So I sat around with a table with these youths, and remember I'm frustrated for days anyway. So I sat around a table with these youths, and like I said, they're talking all type of stupidness, and this guy I don't know him. So that to me is also a threat as well. I don't know you, and they're talking all tough. So I don't know you. So the first thing to me is you're more dangerous to me in my mind, psychologically, than anybody else. Because I know these idiots. They know what I'm capable of. I don't know you. So I went for him first. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And yes, I stabbed him a couple of times, and he died. And then I got away from the scene. To be funny, it's funny thing. I got away from the scene, but something drew me back. Like literally, something drew me back to the scene. Now I don't do those things. I know that movie thing where you come back to scenes and all that rubbish. That's not my style. Like man, do what you do, go home and sleep. You get me? And I'm talking. That's how I just know the thing.
So what drew you back?
I left my passport there. Number one, because I had my passport with me because in Jamaica, because my name was on his birth certificate. You have a thing called Justice of the Peace in Jamaica. These people, they will help you to sign your. Because I needed my passport to prove that I'm my son's dad. So I'm Stephen Graham. You get me? So, because my name was on the only birth certificate, but I wasn't no signature. Like over here, you got signed in England. There's no signature on his birth certificate. So I need to prove. So I need to prove it. So I have my passport with me. So I had my passport, but at the same time, I knew from previous times, I could travel without passport because I've done it before. Where I've gone into altercations in other countries, and passport couldn't be used. I just go to embassy straight away. Can I get a letter? And me saying this now, I'm not encouraging people to do criminal activity. I'm not encouraging criminal activity. I'm just explaining my truth. I don't think no one here listening to think I'm encouraging people how to fly out without a passport. But what I did, I went to the British High Commission and got a letter of residency. You get it the same day and just leave.
Yep.
So I did that. So that's what I could have done, but I didn't. I did that in the previous time, but at this time with this what happened in Jamaica, I could have done that, and I didn't. I actually stayed there. I actually went back there for my passport.
Did you know that he died at this point? Did you
yeah. I knew he died I stabbed him in his neck and his heart.
Yeah.
Of course I knew he died. Blood was squirting. I knew he died from the stabbings. You understand? But it's no one gets stabbed with a right through the heart with a big kitchen knife, and it bucked in him. I know he passed. You know, God forgive me, I know he passed. But the reality is, when something drew me back there, I don't know. I just went back. I literally got away and I went back. And when I went back, it's like it was a mad one because I went back, and he went back. Nobody was doing nothing. The police, but anyway, after a while, the police came. Just to cut a long story short, the police came and they bust 2 shots after me. I ran. Then they started busting shots after me. It's only when I realised that police actually come. I think, oh my God, I'm gonna get locked up. What the fuck? And I just started running. So I don't know. So at that time, I couldn't work out what even drew me back. I knew I didn't need to go off my passport, but it's like something led me back. But I just feel, I personally, like I said in my book, in my autobiography, I know that I'd done too much to keep going. Despite I was trying to do good, I'd done too much in the past, and even if you see the thing about life, it's this, I want people to understand this. Even if a person's hiding behind for somebody else, like say for instance, if I instigate for you, Say I said to you, I instigate for you. Yeah, say, imagine Christian, I say, go out and do something for me. If you go do that situation and you hurt somebody or whatever happens in the pipeline, or something happens to somebody, not only are you a victim, I'm also a victim. I mean, not only are you a persecutor, I'm also a part of that too. In society, they call it conspiracy. Yeah, like your conspiracy, I was a part of the conspiracy of what you done. That's in the court of law. But in the eyes of God, I'm more guilty than even you. Because do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Of course, the cause of it.
Yeah. So I had more roles to play, more things than people could imagine. And on that note, I think I'd done too much to keep going. And I needed to, and I know deep down I wasn't really an evil child or a bad child. I was just a troubled child, and I was a traumatized child. And I was also a victim at one time in my life. Because there was a time when I was a victim. But no one knew me as a victim, or no one could understand I was a victim. Yes, because I didn't talk, but I was a victim at one time. Before I became a perpetrator. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, yeah, people can look and say, oh, he's done this and done that. But no, I was a victim. And this is why people understand why I don't judge no one for what they do. I just try to help people meet them where they're at. Be like Lazarus and Jesus. In the story where Jesus goes to hell to meet him. He doesn't have to. He's like, just Jesus, why am I going to hell for? But he goes to hell to draw him out of hell. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I don't judge people. I see people where they're at. Because I realize that I look at myself and I say, now I turn my life around, who am I to throw a stone at anybody? Like, I can't throw a stone if I once lived in a glass house. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I don't judge people. And I want people to understand that even a lot of guys out here doing crime, whether you're black, white, Indian, Chinese, whatever, Pakistani, whatever, a lot of them, some maybe just pick up fun and joke and just want to be criminals because it's a hype thing. But a lot of guys, especially guys I know, they were also victims in their past before they became the wild guy they became. Whether they're a victim of somebody bullying them and decide that I'm not taking more bullying, F it, and they start going violent and then they take violence to a whole other level, or they just had a very hard upbringing, but they was a victim in some aspects. Even they're not victim to people, they're victim to society. The hardness of poverty they've gone through, there's a victim to society, in society. And no one thought of dealing with them and they just become, so you get me? So people are victims in many aspects. You know, it's about looking at things from a wide perspective, not just being narrow-minded and saying, oh, you guys are wrong. No, just look, don't judge. Look, wonder why people do what they do. And so on that note, it's like, I'm there now, like, wow, I'm gonna get locked up in it because the police are shooting after me. I know I ain't gonna get away from this, innit? So I run, they catch me anyway. They catch me in the house. I end up getting stationed, and surprisingly, my baby mother turns up. So you can't turn up all the time up there for the days that I want my son. But when I get arrested in that evening, you end up at the station at night time doing a statement against me. Now, what dropped my charge from a murder charge to a manslaughter was when they went to court. Forget my judge, my lawyer, he's a prat. He's just chatting one bag of madness. Like all that revealed that in the book. He was a crazy guy. He wanted me to do madness. And I wasn't doing it. My spirit wouldn't let me. You get me? Like I said, I feel like prison saved me because a lot of my friends, like I said, gone on to die or go to prison. Half my friends are, not even half my friends from St. Anne's are dead that I used to roll with. In Kingston, majority of my friends are gone, just dead. I'm actually planning to make a documentary soon about my life. And I'll be having a lot of people's kids in my documentaries who remember me from back in the days. Because a lot of their fathers are just not here. You know, some of them were well-known top guys in their areas they lived. Because I was a man, I fluctuated to different eras. Like I said, in Porties, people who's not from an era, sometimes it's better to bring someone not from an era to come in and take care of business than, you know. So I was in Porties, so I know quite a few different garrisons. Now, for my situation, it just didn't play out the way she did what she did. She wasn't to be seen while I was down to that. But when I got arrested, she found us magically to the station at night time. But then again, I don't anger her no more for it, because I look back and I say it was a bit extensive and a bit deep to how she dealt with me, keeping away from me, but then it's based on the anger that I did to her the year before when I brought the girl from Tivoli and embarrassed her. Of course. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying about the reaction of every reaction. I'm not pardoning her for what she done to me. Because I'm not saying everything was down to her, only her fault anyway. Because I'm not saying she actually wanted that to happen to me and these guys kick off. But she just wanted to make me go for a rough time. Not with them, but by not coming home. And just put me through bullshit. And like, me not coming home, she not coming home, therefore I can't see, therefore we can't get the paper signed, and just frustrate me, just get at me. Did she want me to end up killing anyone? No. I will never sit down and say that. You know what I'm saying? But her actions allowed the old frustration in me to come out. You get what I'm saying? And then that everything is, so that's how things can spiral. For one thing can spiral for another thing. So sometimes I say about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
If you really can gather your thoughts and really understand what you're doing, and you can prevent a lot of things from happening, because one thing starts, another thing starts, another thing, and before you know, you just got a shitload of bullshit in your life, and that's happened to me. So thank God though, because of I was intelligent enough to know that I wasn't pleading a murder charge, because when I looked at statements, I read statements to everybody, because some people hate me down there, they started lying on the statements. So people started saying lies that I did it for no reason. There was nothing happened, I just did it for no reason. Someone said I came up since done it, someone said I was sitting down doing it. I got all the statements right, I got all the statements at my house, like I got them all still with me, I still got them. Someone was saying that I stabbed him 3 times, I stabbed him in his back, and all type of stuff. Which, that's why in the court, when they went to court, I was like, listen, I'm not going to plead murder, because look, her statement was just crap, it was about me not being there for her and all type of rubbish, I was aggressive, and I'm like, damn, like, this is gonna change my murder charge. Like, what's all this about? And I just thought to myself, it's crazy. When I look back at it, even her emotional intelligence wasn't there, because you were saying things in your statement didn't make no sense, relevant to the thing. So that's why I'm laughing. I'm thinking, like, people do so much things when our minds are not really, like, we're thinking from a place, because emotions are good to have. It's beautiful. You have to have emotions. That's why I say, back to what I said, parents and the kids, to don't cry when you drop on the floor, or, you know, or you hurt yourself, or someone hurt you at school. Don't worry, don't let them bother you. That's telling a child to be numb, because you're not helping a child deal with their emotions. There's better ways to tell a child when a child says, oh, this girl was trouble at school, don't worry about it, just avoid her. That's, you're telling a child to say, cut your emotions, don't give a shit. It's crazy. Parents do it all days, and then, again, I'm judging no parent, but it's not an approach I do with my children. My girls are just, I'm never that approach with my kids. I just won't. I won't be that kind of parent. But it's not saying I'm wrong in a parent for doing it, it's something we haven't really told how to deal with our emotions. So we just think to shut off certain emotions, or to act with certain emotions, or it's crazy. But she was not in her right emotional state, that woman, when she did what she did, because, you know, that statement didn't make no sense. But all this worked in my favour, because it helped my case, and the statements they made, again, their emotional intelligence, they lying and making up things, so it didn't work in their favour neither. And then my case dropped to manslaughter, because of my own self, not because of my lawyer. I had 2 lawyers, in fact. I had a QC, Queen's Counsel from Britain, and that was a real pride. He just out for money anyway. And the other one was this twat from Jamaica. He didn't have no sense, and he just told me to plead guilty for murder, and, you know, I'll try to get you for compassionate leave and be psychological crazy, because, like I said, I had on my record, there's me from young school days, there's me having mental issues, and you get me. So he said we can play on that. I'm like, damn fool, you crazy. I ain't doing that, because if I play guilty for murder, Jamaica's a mad system, and plus I knew the police won't make an example of me, because I got stabbed in jail, innit? Like I got cut. First cut I got here on my chest. You see, cut my chest, and I got stabbed in my back. Can you see my back?
Yeah.
So I got stabbed in my back in jail. And that goes, I hurt people in jail too. I'm not going to play like I did when I was in Jamaica prison. When I first got locked for the murder. So they wanted me to play like I'm guilty. Police set me up in jail to kill me. And when I got my own back on people, police tried to...
And this was why you were remand leading?
Yeah. Well, I'm remand to murder. That's what I'm saying. So I'm a remand. I know they want to kill me, because police said, tell me already, they want to kill you. So you want to kill me, and I'm going to now let you... I'm going to do stupidness and plead guilty, and then let them sentence me for murder, which carries a max minimum 25 for life. Some they get 40 years in Jamaica, and some they get life without parole. And I must let them do that to me, because they might make an example of me, because police are going to put in bad words against me. Town police are going to say, oh, you got this guy from back in the days, this foreigner, English boy, thinks... Me, I'm not stupid. I said, no way am I pleading guilty for a murder. So I was like, nah, I'm fighting this case all day. And I fought it, and by the grace of God, I got down to manslaughter.
What sentence did you get?
I got 15.
15?
Yeah, 15, I ended up doing 8. And I already spent 4 years on remand, so I just had 5 more to 3 years on remand. I had about 5 more to do.
So you know the 4 years in remand?
No, 3 years in remand.
3 years in remand. Did you spend that in a certain
No.
prison,
No, I spent in prison. Because what is, I spent the first few months in St Anne's where I got stabbed and cut. And of course I got my own back on others for doing what they done to me now. But then I went to Spanish Town to run the rest of circuit, because circuit court in Spanish Town, where it's called Circuit Kangaroo Court. It's called Kangaroo Court because it's just fake. But you go to prison, and every 3 months or so they send you back to court. So you go to prison, 3 months you go to court, see what happens. So I was in the Kangaroo Court. I did about 10 circuits. Because about 3 years I was about 10 circuits, 10, 11 circuits. And during that time though, remand, it was mayhem. I was going through madness because the police stole my clothes in jail. So I had hardly any clothes to go in prison. They stole my money that British High Commission gave me. Big up to Prisoners Abroad. I've never heard of Prisoners Abroad.
Yeah,
organisation in North London. They always give you money in that, send that money to them. Big up to them. They do amazing stuff. I'd love to collaborate with them on anything, because I think that what they do is amazing for people.
Helped you survive his time out there as well.
Yeah. They made sure they send that money in that for me, but again the police stole all that. They stole all my money because you had to have a book. They put it in, so when the British High Commission put the money in for my family and from Prisoners Abroad, the police you have to write the book. In the book, when you want some money out, you have to write your name to the book. They give out, deduct your money and everything. They stole my money and said they wrote it. The day I was leaving to go to court, they like, when I got sentenced, they said to me, after that, my third year, they said to me, no, my third year. Within my first few months, when I was at court, the first circuit I went on, they wrote my book when I was leaving St Anne's. They wrote my book. This is the first circuit court. They wrote in the book that I took my money out, which is bull crap. They took away my underpants, given to people, because I didn't have name brand underpants. Son John and them things I was wearing, and they did FUBU and that. The underpants I gave away, my shoes I gave away. So I ended up going to prison with a ballet, a cheese bottom ballet, and strap-on ballet, white ones, and a Nike Max, and a FUBU suit, and one underpants. When I came down with some nice designs and everything, they took all that, gave it to other prisoners when they were leaving. Do you get me? They told me I signed up for my stuff, and I gave away this and I gave away that. What could I do?
Of course. What
could I do when I'm leaving? I just have to go to the prison knowing that I'm going to have the worst time. Got no money, nothing. They took all my stuff, toiletries, everything. So I went to prison just bare. Had nothing. I had to depend on prison issue stuff. I was going through struggles. When prison...
It's bad enough in Britain. I can't imagine what it's like with prison
Jamaica
issue
prison,
stuff like that.
Forget, Jamaica prison is a hellhole, bro. In fact,
Talk to me about the conditions and how rough it is. Like you say, you've been stabbed up twice.
Yeah, that's a jail.
Court case.
Okay, listen, jail is madness. There's about 10 jail sometimes with 6, 10, 12, depending on the amount of people in the cell, yeah? There's like, in the jail there's like wood slabs around. Some man sleep on the floor, some man sleep on slabs. The knife situation in jail, easy to get forward and like you. I mean, prison like, if the police like you, they, like I said, they gave man knives, they gave man everything, but they didn't give me. So that's why I got, even my fingers, I got cut on my fingers. If you see my finger, I cut my fingers. I had to fight for my shit in it, because they didn't like me. You know what I'm saying? The first months I was in there, they didn't like me. They knew what time it was. They thought it was their time to get me, kill me, innit? It didn't work, by the grace of God. So I had my only thing. I had my toothbrush to sharpen my toothbrush to stab up people with that.
But it really was like people were getting killed in these prisons and
in jail.
Yeah,
People got killed in jail. Yeah, people got killed in jail.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I wasn't making no one take my life. Or God wasn't making no one take my life in jail. But in jail was cruel, bro. It was cruel. Like, we used to piss in a bucket because there's no toilet in the cell. You piss in a bucket. There's there's not a proper toilet. It's like a bowl you got to squat on and shit. And then it's like you're getting fed in a basin. This like a. Like a bucket.
Yep.
Your food comes in a bucket. You hear me? Like, your food comes in a bucket. You eat out a butter dish and some kind of stupidness in jail.
And what was the food like then?
The jail food, to be honest, it wasn't too bad, because the woman who cooked the jail food was a good friend of mine. So I got to respect her. Like, she cooked the food. She looked after us in jail. She was the one that kind of like, even told my, like, tried to help me at times to get me. A lot of people didn't like she was looking after me.
And do you know when you were in the prison, where you were from, England as well?
The jail was mad though. Let me explain something about the jail. People would beat inmates and make them stand on the grills. In in the jail, like the bars.
Yeah.
It's like if they didn't like you, man would make you stand up on the bar and hold on to the bar, and you had to sleep on that.
What the fuck?
Like literally, you had to sleep on the bar. So the whole, you know, at the bar, the cell bars.
Yep.
They said you can't come down, stay on the fucking bar and sleep. And they'll beat you. My said they couldn't do it because I didn't condone that shit. But people do that. People do that. I didn't condone that. And them evil. It's entertainment. Again, people then emotionally just crazy. They're entertainment for them. And it was madness. So for me, I saw so much madness in jail. But when I was in jail, people wouldn't generally attack me because they were scared, because they knew I had a reputation on the streets. But again, I know the police. Let me say sorry. The police definitely lined up them two guys to try to kill me.
Yeah.
You get me? But they got their own still. So the man got their own back on them. You get me? One got his own back on them in jail. The other one got his own back in prison. But
sorry to interrupt. Was the prison controlled by the posses and the gangs, or was it controlled
the
by the
prison's
officers?
different. The prison runs different from the jail, because the jail, like I said, so much people locate themselves.
So explain the difference between the prison and the jail.
Okay, a jail is literally a police station. In Jamaica, jail is a police station, with big cells with a lot of inmates in one cell.
Yeah, and so that's where you are leading up to the court.
Yeah, that's why I got stabbed up. That's why I got stabbed and cut in the jail. Yeah, but when I went to prison, I also got cut in prison still. But prison was different.
So prison's the real what?
Prison, yeah, Spanish Town prison. After 3 months of my run, I had nothing. I went to prison. That's where shit was really crazy, because prison is not even like slabs, wooden slabs. There's nothing. You're on the floor unless someone gives you a sponge. So I had nothing in it. I had my fubu top, so I had to sleep on my fubu top. I take my fubu top out and lay on the floor and sleep on it for months. Do you get me? I had nothing, and I had, like I said, I went there with no food, no clothes, no food, no toiletries, no nothing. So I had to depend on prison issue, which came once a month, which is nothing. Just one little city cake soap, this mad fab with bleach in it that just made I had a red fubu suit, and it made my fubu suit pink after a while. Like, I had nothing. You get me? I was going through these mad struggles. A man cut a hole in my ear max, so they put a knife through my ear max, and I went to shower. And you get me? I was going through torture. People I knew on the block, and again they didn't put me around. You asked about tug of war. They put tug of war in the South Block, innit? They put me over Roman, Gibraltar, GB3, because that's where they put all the yardies, the hardcores and that. They put me there because, again, like I said, I know they wanted to kill me. Blatantly wanted to kill me. They put me with all them and not put me on South Block where I could have had a better sentence. They put me on the back. So I was going through madness around the back, seeing stabbings all the time. Man got killed down the zoo. My little Reggie Budge got killed. The bare people got stabbed up around there. And then all I could pray for every day was a knife, bro. Like I told my book, I prayed every day for a knife. That's all I wanted. Like, I didn't want my freedom at that time. I'm on remand. All I wanted was a knife. I'll be honest, because I know myself, I know my capabilities, and I know I'm not scared to use it. I just wanted a knife because I knew I had nothing. Within a week, this guy's punched my face. Do you get me? Pulls a knife out of me, bam, my face. I rushed at him. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Because I'm not taking it from nobody. But the thing with me, after a while, about a few weeks, people started offering me stuff. I didn't want nothing from nobody. I was still resilient. I was still like, no, I don't want nothing from you. I'm angry. Like, I'm like oil and water. You know when you put oil and water together? Terrible mix. And in prison, there's no toilets. So there's no big bucket like in the jail. They got a big bucket outside the jail so you can put your penis through the bars and piss. You have to use like these kind of bottles, but a bigger one, 2 litre bottle, or you got a jug. You get me? Like I said, I've got pictures to give you to show you, so you can. I'd like bottles.
They call it the piss gal.
Yeah, piss gal. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the piss gal. Yeah, the piss gal. I had my piss gal in it. So, and it was like, oh man, when I first went in the night, I went there, I didn't even know I needed all that stuff. There's a guy in my cell said to me, yeah, give me his bottle. Goes, yo, Kai. I goes, what do you mean, Kai? We want to do this. He goes, you have a piss in it. Kai, I didn't know what to do, so he cut it for me, innit?
Crazy.
He's put actually his knife and I'm thinking, blood, oh fucking, I'm looking with guys with knives. I'm like, I'm just pissed like, I need a knife. The morning I woke up, the first morning, I didn't piss at night. The morning I woke up, I went out, stabbings happened. I'm like, oh my God, like, I need a knife. God, give me that's all I want. I'm asking God for a knife. I'm not asking for freedom. I just want a knife now. I need a knife because I need to know I can poke someone back up. That's the reality of my truth. I needed a knife because I'm the vibe where everyone's got a knife. I know what happened to me in jail already. I was stabbed in jail. When I got stabbed in my back in jail, my back oozed because the guy stabbed me with a big rusty piece of iron. And he did. And that's why I know they wanted to kill me because it was rusty and he stabbed me right in my back. Tried to kill me. And my back oozed and I had to get injections in my bum and in my arm and in my bum, then go back and get one in my arm and my bum again, because it was just pussing yellow and greeny shit. I was fucked, and I'm like, after going through that, that's like traumatized, and I'm thinking, blood, I ain't coming here to get killed, so I needed that. All I asked for was a knife. I just wanted a knife. I just was humble and just wanted a knife. I just wanted a knife. I didn't want freedom. I didn't want money. I just want a knife. That anybody comes at me, I can poke the fuck out of them. That's all I wanted. And that's mentally, that's not a happy way to be or to think. But that's how I needed to think. I needed a knife.
It's a very primitive existence in jail, especially probably 10 times more so in Jamaica.
Jamaican prison, everyone's got a knife, bro. Or they got a prison shank or something. I had nothing in it. Because on the block I landed, I knew nobody. But it was a mad one because the guy who cut me in my chest, he also was landing on the block. And that first morning, I'll be honest with you, I was scared as fuck. Because I thought he got friends, they're going to kill me today, done me, but he didn't know no one, so he was also quiet on the block, but no one troubled him. I was a target. Everyone's talking, well, this you come out Jamaica, I'm killing people, firing out here, think out.
And because you're English, does that make you target, obviously?
Yeah, but at the time, Jamaican accent still. I had a very strong Jamaican accent. I still have, even if I saw my cousins right now, you'll hear the Jamaican come on to me. Like, I'll be like, yo, I go on, you see it? But we're just talking, you get me? But at that time, I had a strong Jamaican accent. Because and it wasn't like me transition, because I could transition.
So if you're talking in patois at them times there, that people thought you were Jamaican, or the Jamaicans could still
no,
hear
but they knew.
They knew you were strong.
People knew I was Jamaican. Some people call me deported, but some people say I'm English. But they knew I was in England. That's the point. They knew I was from England. So, but what is, I know words and whispers about me. That's what I'm saying to you. From jail, they already tried to kill me. Words and whispers about me, I was taken around the back. I wasn't taken to the front where foreigners go. I was taken to the back. So I already knew words and whispers already there. Police and warders dealing in it. So I already knew there's words and whispers about me. So send me around the back. So I already knew the plot. That's something ain't right, because they're putting me around the back. So I knew this ain't where no foreigners go. There's only two foreigners that have been there, and they're both charged for murder in America. You get me, American guys. One just recently got released. I talk about my book on Moses. You know, bless him. He's doing great. He's doing great for himself, and God bless him. You know, he got released after he was charged for murder. He's done like 20-something years over there. Jamaica prison. Yeah, a good friend of mine. Now, recently got in touch with him. But it's like, so for me, it's that situation where it's like, I knew they wanted me in it. Because most of the foreigners from English and other foreigners, they go to South Block. So I'm like, boy, alright, cool. Round the back, going through madness. I'm fighting all the time with people are saying that this, saying all type of stuff against me, lying against me, because I have nothing to give. You see, money buys friends in Jamaica. I never had no money to give. And I wasn't going to buy friends anyway, because I've never been that type of guy. I don't buy friends. I value you would command my respect. Do you get what I'm saying? Some might call it fear. Do you get what I mean? But I grew up like that, so there's no way I'm not going to be buying friends now like that. It's not my style. So one, I have no money to give anyway. So I was always fighting with people, and that's why I got cut my finger. And then but the reality of it though, it won me a lot of respect though after a while. Because after a while, there's people realize that this guy's relentless. He's not going to give in. Every time I went in, I was just constantly fighting. He's not going to give in. So after a while, people kind of started respecting me, nodding, offering me things, offering me phone calls to phone England. Like, I don't want that from you though.
Yep.
So that kind of got a lot of respect for me.
You smoking weed at them times?
No, I stopped smoking weed because I couldn't afford it. I literally stopped, just like that, like a click of the finger, bro. I stopped smoking weed.
I've never smoked it.
Nah, I didn't smoke back since that. Because I couldn't afford it. So out of nowhere, I couldn't buy a bullet.
It was cheap in there. They were telling me how cheap it was in there.
And Louise banging.
But luckily, he had his dad obviously sending him money out there, you know.
Who does? Yeah. I had no one. I got a very strong family. Big family in Jamaica, in Kingston and Spanish Town. And I was in Spanish Town prison. But my family didn't know I was in Jamaica because I didn't visit that set of family. I visited a set of family who live in Kingston 8. Yeah, which I didn't really know that set of family until 2000. Not 2000, I can't say 2000. Until 90. So I remember I went to prison in 98. I didn't know that set of family until 97. When I went to Jamaica, 97 I met them. So from 1990 to 94, when I'm out there, I know a different set of family. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Of my own in Kingston, not that side of the family. Yep. But remember I said I wanted to change my life, so I was trying to rustle that. So I was at this different set of family to start power with. But yeah, so I'm there now, just bare fights in thing. I'm watching prisoners want to shit in their cell and can't shit and have to hold their shit right through the evening. Like you lock down 2 o'clock. Imagine being locked at 2 o'clock and then you can't shit. an inmate says you can't shit. This never happened to me because I fought for man in myself. I wasn't having it. No one telling me I can't shit. But fuck that shit. Like I'm have to shit. But I've saw inmates not shitting, like literally hold their shit and screaming and crying through the night, like, because that's enzymes in your body.
I bet it's a madness even in Jenny's country. You hold it until you get out for that hour and then you go to the toilet outside. And
imagine holding it for, if you use about an hour, imagine holding it from, say you get locked down.
23 hours and then when you get out for that hour.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not healthy for you, bro.
Yeah, of course. And doing damage to your inside.
It's like mad damage. You're bubbling, you're sweating.
Oh, the cellmate wouldn't do it, and it's just luckily it's only a few days and I've got put into one of the cells with the bigger door. But yeah, I can imagine absolute crazy.
This because in Jamaica prison is crazy. So mum was like, "No, you can't shoot yourself. I'll stab you up." Because Jamaica cells never one. It's either 1, 3, or 4 locate. Then times they used to have amox. I recently told by my brethren told me recently that amox you can't have amox in Spanish Town no more. But in Kingston, in GP they have amox. In Spanish Town no. But then times they used to have amok. Again, so there's 4 people in a cell, sometimes 5. Now, because only might have 2 amox. Now, and there's always 3 on the floor, one on each side and 1 in the back. And if you're big and tall, but they put in the back, and the cells are very small, they're like bathroom size. So if you get put in the back and you're tall, I feel sorry for you because you have to lay like hunched up and shit. But it's mad because you got to piss in the bottle and it's just it's uncomfortable, bro. It's inhuman. It's inhumane because when you think about it, you got a thing called the Mandela rules. The Mandela rules. I talk about this in a documentary I'm doing. The Mandela rules. Because remember, Nelson Mandela was in prison. The Mandela rules is the basic human stuff, human rights that a prison deserves. And toilet facility is one. Jamaica prison has no toilet facilities, none at all. You got old style padlocks and your walls. If you see you will see the wall pictures. I'm showing you the pictures. The walls are so disgusting. You lean on them, you get a thing called liver spots. Like some cells, don't get me wrong. One of the cells are very clean because some inmates who have money will buy things and buy paint and paint their walls and clean them. But some cells are so disgusting, bro, that haven't been taken care of or no one is spending money on because not every inmate's gonna spend money on these walls. Even if they got money, some just don't give a shit. And you lean against the walls will give you liver spot, bro. You can smell the dirt and the doo-doo in the wall, like because you got chinks in the walls. Some of the walls got chinks in it. Chinks like these little insects that bite you. I've never heard about chinks until I went to prison. I didn't even know shit exists in Jamaica. These little insects that bite you, they're actually white, but you see them, they're browny red because they blood sucking blood. Actually white insects, but the more blood is up, they change colour.
Darker, yeah.
Yeah, fucked up. And all these things biting me and I didn't know what the fuck was going on, bro. I'm getting bite by these chinks. I'm like, what the? He messaged me, yeah, bro, that's chinks. I'm like, oh, fuck, bro. Like, I touched they stunk. Like, it was ridiculous. The liberty you're going through is so inhumane, bro. It's just degrading that you piss in a bottle. The fact that you piss in a bottle as a big man, you got to stick your cock in a bottle. Yeah. Every day you're sticking your cock in a bottle and pissing. And you'll make sure that bottle don't overflow. That's degrading as hell. It's psychologically degrading. You get used to it, but it's degrading. But you get used to being in a degrading environment. So that's not good for your mental health anyway. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Then and if you got a good cellmate and he makes you shit, it's degrading. You've got to shit in a bag now. You've got to get a plastic bag, you've got to line it with newspaper, and you've got to squat over that. So you're squatting over it like I was sitting on a chair, you're squatting, they call it riding. Because you're squatting like a riding a bike, innit? So you're squatting over that and you're shitting. And if it's running, you're fucked. Because if you go on the floor, your cellmate's going to fuck you over. You get what I'm saying? And that's the most degrading thing. Even though you put a towel up there, but it's or blanket to chill yourself, it's still degrading. You're around your cellmates. And no one talk about the scent of the shit. Plus the scent of the room anyway. The cell just stinks anyway. It actually smells. So it's just like all that. You usually use a wick to if you're in your cell and you do a shit. You create a wick like you plait it.
Yeah, the little bit of rope.
Plait it with tissue. And light it like a tissue, and you light it, and then like you plait it, and it's just, bro, it's inhumane, bro. The lifestyle's crazy, and this is what, like, people understand. Like the food is just, it's Jamaica, bro. Jamaica's got banging cuisines. They purposely make that food taste like shit. The rice and peas doesn't like rice and peas, bro. There's no redness to it. It's like white rice and red peas. It's separate. It's like rice and peas isn't like that. Rice and peas is the white rice turns red. That's what rice and peas is. It's got a coloured complexion to it because the peas soaked. It's fucked. Everything. The chicken is they take because they had kara. Kara is what they brought into prison to forgive us, cook food for us, Kara.
Yeah.
But what they've done, now Kara is no longer there. Now the prison cooks themselves. When I first went to prison, there was no Kara. I went to prison in 98, there was no Kara. So prisoners used to cook the prison from the kitchen in copper pots. Now copper pots are unhealthy because that shit messes up your body and it messes your actual bone density. So the copper pots from prisons were leaning up and all type of shit. Their bodies were going messy, and that was affecting prison. They were also teeth in the meat, and some of the meat was all rotten anyway, because some of the meat was so rotten because they didn't season it properly. When you put it toward your mouth, you smell the rottenness of the meat. It's wrong, bro. It's just wrong. Sometimes you see the rice and peas and all the stew peas that they make, you look and think, what the that ain't, you look, if you take a picture from like a normal, go into Google and type in stew peas, and you put a stew peas picture up from Google of a proper Caribbean Jamaican stew peas, and you take a picture of this stew peas that I'm gonna show you, I want you to do that. I want you to put a Google picture of a stew peas and this stew peas, bro, and look at it, and you'll be like, they're cunts, bro. They purposely make the food nasty. They've been doing it back then, and they still do it today. And they removed Kara because Kara bought food, and Kara food just as bad. They brought Kara in. We didn't know if everyone called it Kara, so I called it Kara. And Kara was disgusting when I was there. I've heard now recently Kara's gone and it's back to using copper pots again, which is inhumane. So prisoners are eating out copper pots again, which the food is carried again in buckets. There's no proper, you're not eating proper utensils, it's buckets. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
It's dished out, rather it's just nasty, and there's not even a proper lids on the pots. The pots have a proper lid, and the pots got so this kind of the lids on the pots aren't proper lids. They don't fit, so the lids fall into the bucket, into the buckets, and therefore, and some of them got like metal. Some got some of these metal pots, but the pots ain't got a proper bucket, ain't got proper covers neither. So because they're using the plastic covers that are for the buckets. So then it falls in. So when you're walking, you got the flies, you got maggots and all that stuff. You walk, and by the kitchens, back in those days, by the kitchen, when the food's not ate, they throw the rubbish on the floor by the kitchen. So the rubbish goes on the floor. So imagine rubbish on the floor by the kitchen, which attracts flies, maggots, mosquitoes, causes there's soup water, there's water, everything, and there's food. The local cats and that get a field day, and they all pissed. They're just being in prison. I think they're like prisoners. They get pissed as well. It's just mad. And you got all that unhygienicness right by the actual food. Like, don't give me any pictures for these, don't worry. Right by the food, bro. Right by your food when you're cooking, you find all this nastiness. Right by the food. Then you go even deeper. You've got the juncos, which is like birds. Juncos that fly around dead.
Yeah.
Juncos come down and they eat the food too. In the prison. That's how and this is right there in the kitchen, huh? I ain't talking about somewhere else, I'm talking about the kitchen. And this is what comes on the tray. We go eat from a kitchen that right next to it is all this rubbish and maggots and all that stuff. So imagine, and rats, imagine how unhygienic that kitchen is inside of it.
Crazy, you're lucky to survive out there. How did you get through that 8 years out in?
Probably, it's so God was with me, bro.
Did you find faith in them, also faith in
bro,
them?
I found mad faith in there. I found God in there, bro. Believe me. I'm be real with you. Like, I always had God in my heart, but boy, I really found God in there, and I found intelligence in there, bro. Like I said, emotional intelligence.
So your change happened while you were
it happened in prison. I'm not gonna say I was perfect in prison. I was still got myself into a lot of problems in prison. I was charged for attempted murder in prison, but that got dropped, and then I got charged for another attempted murder. But that shit wasn't make no sense. Again, they tried to kill me. They claimed that I did a attempted murder on someone, and I'm thinking, what the f*** are they talking about? I didn't do nothing. So anyway, they told me this was actually when I was on remand. I haven't been sentenced yet. They said to me, we're taking you to Spanish Town prison. Remember I did 3 years on remand. They goes, we're taking you to Spanish Town police station. I said, for what? For what? Attempted murder? What? So I'm thinking, oh shit, someone got my passport caught back up on me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck me. Go then pack my stuff up, go to Spanish Town police station. Bro, there's empty cells. They walk past them. They're walking past cells. There's a few other inmates at cells. They took me right to the back, to the dark part of it. Right to the back. Be a man, that cell. I'm like, I look like, and I'm ready now. I'm telling myself, this is a fight time. Bro, they open the cell. A man says, Tata Wagwan. That's my nickname. Because I had different nicknames for different garrisons. I was a smart guy. That was one of my nicknames. There's one nickname people come over here, but in Jamaica they call me. Tata Wag. I said, yo, my dog, you Wagwan. My brethren saw me. My brethren was in the jail. Next man kept on saying, yo, the Wagwan. You from Riverly. I was from train line. Two guys who knew me in the cell. Everyone in the cell started looking at each other. Because them two youths are really, like, they're about their business. The police were shocked. And I knew by the look on everyone's face, if them man never really called me out and said, yo, my dog, what? Because they never, again, like I said, no one knew I was in Jamaica because I went straight to Kingston 8 to my family there. I didn't go to my normal friends and family in Spanish Town. I didn't go to my normal friends in Kingston. So no one knew I was in Jamaica. Because like I said, I was Ras, I was trying to change up. And I was going through, I just wanted to just get a different life in 98, you get me? So no one, not like 97 where I visit Spanish Town, I visit my people in Jones Avenue, Ota, Greendale. I visit my people in Riverly Jungle, I bridge in Cushion, I visit them. And I did visit, what's the name, Bongo them in Riverly, and I did visit Train Line to my bridge and harass them. I didn't visit nobody 98, I just went straight to Kingston 8. You get me? Remember I said in 97 I was in Kingston 8, but I visited this other place. I left Kingston 8 in 97 with my friend from Kingston 8. I went different places, but in 98 I just went straight to Kingston 8, so no one knows I was in Jamaica. So when certain brethren see me like, oh blood, what, I was like, fuck me. Because I never said no, I just saw the look on the warder's face, on the police's face in Spanish police station, and I look at the other inmates, and they look at each other like, this don't work, this don't look like it's gonna. Because the man were too happy, like, yo, brother, Wagwan, because they're my brothers, isn't it? Like, real friends.
So what was it, like a trumped up charge just to get you there in order to get you hurt?
I feel like it's a trumped up charge. I don't know if it was a real charge that they really had on me from something that happened in Spanish Town before, or if it was a trumped up charge just to get me there and say there's a charge, get me there and boom, they just kill me. You get me? And so I got killed in the jail, whatever. I don't know. But all I know is they wanted to kill me. But it never worked because God was with me. You get me? And that was like, that. See them two man, they was like, yeah. My life saved. And I said, yep, from that, they ended up bringing me back to, in fact, I didn't even go into court. If I can remember, I can't remember what happened. I can't remember if I went to court or not. But I know that whole thing dropped anyway. So whatever it was, it did dropped. And I just went back to prison. And then, it was just madness. Then, oh yeah, but after about, say, 6 months of suffering, the British High Commission finally got to see me. This happened like about a year mash into about 2 years into my remand. But about a year mash, about 6 months in my thing, the British High Commission finally got to see me, and they told me themselves, we've been trying to contact you all the time, but you didn't want to see us. I said, what? So I looked in front of the warden, I said, what? And then that's when I saw a lot of foreigners. I said, foreigners, why are you not over the front? I'm all only foreign over the back. They're like, oh, we all look at Sat Block, we all look at Sat Block. One or two said they look at NCB, but everyone's like, we look at Sat Block, we look at Sat Block. I'm thinking, I just knew from the beginning, I knew they wanted to kill me from the back, why they put me in the back in the beginning. But it was when the British High Commission said to me, we want to see you, but you said you didn't want to see us. So every time they came, remember they come every month and a half or so to see British inmates. Yeah. They came about 3 or 4 times then. 3 times while I was on remand. On my first set of remand for 6 months. They did not see me. But the police, the warders, because I was in Spanish Town prison, the warders were saying, I don't want to see them. Which again is not a lie. Yeah. So I would go for unnecessary suffering. So the woman goes, listen, I've got ample money to give you, blah, 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 blah. She knew I was vexed, but she didn't want to say nothing about it. I talk about this in my book, but I go into more details, of course. And she was like, she was amazing. She just went away. She said, I'll bring back some more stuff for you. I'll bring stuff for you. She brought back some slippers and that, because I had nothing, bro. I was like suffering. And from then, things kind of changed. And after that, I realised on a block behind, which was the worst block in the whole prison, called The Ship, I don't know a slaughterhouse, because enough people got killed over there. My brothers were top men over there. People I knew from back in the days. So my whole life in prison totally changed, bro. Like, totally changed.
And so even when you got around your friends and certain people made friends, you did well to obviously restrain from smoking weed.
Yeah, I decided to get back in the.
So you managed to become a changed man in jail.
In prison, yeah,
people have to change when they get out.
No, I changed in prison. Yeah. You know what makes my journey even greater? In prison, I decided to change. Like, don't get me wrong, I got into certain problems, and I was part of some real senior guys, like some real. There's a guy who was a good friend of mine, Wayne Bones. He was like one of the top guys from an organisation called Clans back in the days. The Clans are not the same no more, but the Clans back in the days when Bobby was around, he was one of Bobby's top guys. Wayne Bones was my right hand in prison. But see this guy now,
Willie Bones.
Wayne Bones.
Wayne Bones.
Yeah, Wayne Bones. He's very well known guy. He's Jamaica Spanish town. Very known. He was he's been killed now still.
Yeah.
But he was like my bona fide in prison. We was me, him, Scoffler from Capture Land. Quite a few of us. We had a nice little team. You get me? A real team that people knew don't play with. But they had everything. Yeah, because he was getting beaten because he was like a top shot in Spanish Town. So he had everything. But I still wouldn't smoke again. I just didn't want to go back to it.
Sure.
Like I just told myself I'm not going back to smoking. And but I got myself a stuff from prison. I'm not going to be like I didn't. But at the same time, I read so many books like so many Tom Clancy.
Good.
I read so much Tom Clancy's in prison because I had nothing to do. I started reading all the time because I'm dyslexic as well.
Yeah, good.
You know, so and I do speak fast, but I used to speak even faster. So I learned to read and slow myself down. I learned to control my speaking. And at the time, I remember speaking very fast and speaking hard Jamaican accent as well. It's a problem. I learned to actually speak better English in prison. That's actually allowed me today to speak. From reading.
Yeah.
That's why I can speak Jamaican. I can still speak my Jamaican patois. Like I can't talk Jamaican thing. I'm not that for that. You understand? I can tell my thing back in Jamaican. I can talk English. And if I told my family in Jamaica, I talk Jamaican because they don't fully understand English properly like that. You get me? They rather than start the patois to them. But it's like for me, it was really important. I read and it helped me with my dyslexic and it helped me to slow my speaking, reading that by where I spoke down as well. Because I still speak kind of fast anyway. You get me? But it's like reading Tom Clancy was good for me. I read all these books, Patriot Games, because I had a few little small library in prison, very small. But I read that. I read a lot of books on war, Cambodian war, and that.
Did you start writing your book while you were in jail?
I did. Towards the end, I actually wrote my first book, which was a romance novel.
Jeez.
Yeah, I actually wrote a romance novel towards my end after I was sentenced, and after going through madness, because I went through, like I said, I'm not going to sit and say, no, I haven't been through madness in prison. In prison, I went through a lot of madness. You know, even there was prison escapes that happened, you know, and my name was called upon them involved in that. So as much as I was trying to transform my life, I still was kind of
when you're in a devilish, hellish environment.
So I can get drawn into certain things. You know, the wall one time was blown up when I was sentenced. This wall was blown up in GP, literally with dynamite. You know, a friend blew up a wall, and people, you know, people said something to do with it because I was there. You know, I don't know. Things just happened around me. You get me? Things happen around me. People say I was involved, but I'm just saying I was there in it. I was there when it happened. I'm not going to deny I was there, but I don't really. You know what I mean?
Of course. So when you were in there, and obviously you're a changed man now.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm reading.
What were your intentions for when you came out?
My intention was because I used to love exercise in prison. Like if you look at my book, the first page of my book shows a picture of me in 2005. Because remember I got locked up 98 in prison, 2005. I'm diesel, and I was training hard, bro. So people said to me, come out and personal train. But because I was also reading a lot of Bible there, people started calling me Israel. And then people started calling me Hebrew, because I was reading Hebrew, and then I said I'm going to get into the Israelite belief, and I like the whole scriptures and the concept of the Bible. So people said to me, go out and do some research on history and become a historian and study, and you get me? So people saw a different light from me. They saw me in a different way, because I was always talking about scriptures, and I became a different person. And I was writing poetry in there, and I wrote. In fact, I wrote a poetry book. The poetry book I got right now, which I released years ago, which is doing pretty well. It's called Healthy Love, which was actually wrote in prison. Healthy Love and Compatible Minds, my romance novels, both of them were actually wrote in prison.
Fair play, I didn't even know about either of them. So.
Yeah, I wrote 2 books in prison, man. I released them when that came out. I'm proud of them, like, you get me?
As you should be, especially to live in a place like that.
I mean, there's no woman in prison, but I could talk to girls on the phone, because like I said, after that first 6, 7 months, 8 months, my life really changed in prison. I started getting more money, started getting visits. God opened the way for me. My family's coming from England regular, and my mates coming down from English, some yard youths were coming back to Jamaica. They always bringing down clothes to me. I had the latest clothes in prison. But the thing about me, I didn't become bossy. I would give away clothes to inmates who didn't get, because I knew what it was like to suffer. Because we used to have strikes in prison. Jamaica, when we're not happy with our circumstances, we strike, innit? That means no one can take food off the table. So I know what it's like to not want to eat. Like when you're on a fast normally, but when someone's telling you shouldn't eat, it's not the same as fasting, because you're not doing it of your own will. So when I was told that I can't eat, if I eat I'll get killed, if it's a rule, everyone mustn't eat, we never had no money or nothing, innit? So when strikes used to happen, and now I start getting visits, I used to buy little bullets and a lot of briskets and give out to the poor, so they have something to eat through the strike. You get me?
Yeah.
So people kind of respected me for how I carried myself, even different crews, different people. So I won a lot of respect from a lot of different areas, a lot of different guys, just because of the way I carried myself.
People could see that you're a changed man. You're doing good now.
And I was doing good in prison. I was doing good for people. Like I said, I got my old. I don't say I didn't get no altercations. I got altercations. Things happened to people. Things happened to me. You know, but people saw the better of me. Do you get me? And I won a lot of respect from people I didn't even know. And even now, there's certain people who are highly respected on the streets in Jamaica. They got mad love for me because of the person I became. You know, so I turned my life. Me turning my life around. And this again about emotional control, emotional intelligence. I turned my life around and learned to deal with myself about, and me openly talking to people about my problems and what I went through and what I was going through as a young person. It allows certain top killers in Jamaica prison to talk about their own problems. So I'm sitting down with some top guys from different garrisons, from out at East Kingston, Kirk, Rockford, from Water, certain places that these men are known for this notorious Spanish Town, train lines, and man, they're known to do their business. But then they're talking with me on an emotional tip, and they're like, Channel Block, I know someone got you this and that, you and my father got some boom boom, and my mother, and they're talking me their problems, and I'm like, you know what, but when you think about it, you could have done this, or you know, that happened to you, but bear in mind, it wasn't your fault, though you could have responded different, blah, 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 and I'm explaining to him, because I'm analysing myself for my own actions. I took time to analyse my own actions in prison, and the violence I'd done, and the things I'd done, and it made me start looking at life different. So then I talking to my friends, and coming from that kind of conscious conversation, it allowed them to open up to talk to me about. Sometimes I'd have certain man who I don't even know, and then they come to myself and say, yo, big man, I come check you in the car. No, and I'm like, cool now. And we start reasoning, the man telling me his problems, and I'm reasoning. So I became like a counsellor to certain man. Do you get me? So before you know it, I've got respect from garrisons that don't like each other, hate each other, will kill each other. A man who want to war each other in prison. Now both of you on different sides like me. Like, this is the reality of it's in my book. People know the truth. It's not hiding. I had real like top guys feeling me like.
Show that you're a real changed man in that way people.
And so people tell me already. So I had a lot of people. Even the guy who was known to kill Peter Tosh, Lepo, he's alleged murder of Peter Tosh. I'll say alleged murder because that's what people say. Even he said to me, when you go on the road, make something great of myself. Carlo said to me, yo, come out and do something great. Everyone said to me, come out and do something great. This is why I really driven to do something good for my life, because some of my friends I left behind are doing like 30 years, 40 years before parole. Some have got 200 years.
So the way you were going, you could have end up one of these people, the path you were on before that.
Yeah, I could have ended up being one of them doing mad years in prison. Or
like
even
you
dead.
say, you could have got the murder, you could have got the 40 years, luckily you got 15 years.
Listen, I could have got more murders in prison. One day I had a problem on you, yeah? And this is why I know I really had a changed mind and heart. This is how I established myself. I was already being sentenced, left Spanish Town. I'm in GP now, established myself in GP. I mean, my friend Damon is dead now. I didn't recently find out he died. Damon, he's more a virgin school's bona fide, but Damon was cool with me. Always helped me when he see me. Damon used to always say to me, we never talk regular, but he said to me, blood, if anything, that got you. Damon was known for killing warders and things like that. He's that couple. He's never come on the road.
Yeah.
Like, they killed him recently. They couldn't kill him no other way but poisoning him.
Jeez.
Yeah, they had to poison him in prison. Now the reality is this: I knew I had respect for certain type of youths, but I've never tried to abuse my respect. And when I was in GP, it was you. Towards what ended my sentence must be about a year and a half left in prison, and one you boxed me in my face. And at that time, now I was around my syndicate of Dunkirk youths and jungle youths, and I had views from people from all different areas that liked me. I could have started a war with these guys. Plus, the guy who did it, his boss didn't want to beef with me neither, because his boss was cool with me. So he wanted that crew. He's from Riverton City. Now he's like, this can't go on. And like, a lot of people came to me and said to me, "What are you gonna do about this?" Like my little friends, some of my little friends are hotties, and they're like, "Blood, make us pull up some knives and just start war and stab up." I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna go roast soon, and I'm gonna change my life. And I'm trying to do better in it." And they're like, Hebrew, come do this. I'm like, no, you're cool. But deep down, my ego said to me, yo, just kill the boy, cuz, you understand? But then some next big man from the block said to me, Mayo, this man's not going road ever. He goes to me, bro, loud the thing, you know, don't do that, you're going road, you're going to do good for yourself. So I said, to him, no, I'm going to do nothing anyway. I goes, I'm not going to do nothing. That time I fight my ego and I said, no, I'm going to do nothing anyway. Because in my mind I'm thinking, right, I can do something, I have the ability to do it, and I have people around me.
But that
and the
point
fact
there,
that
you'd become intelligent.
Yeah, and the fact that these guys came to my cell, 5-6 man deep with their boss, because the boss was their crew, who really just wanted to know what was going on between us, why we kicked off like that. And me was talking about we and this next guy shouting over him. Do you get me? So that's why that escalated things. So he went to box me, because they had knives on them. So that already made me know you don't underestimate me, because I didn't have a knife on me that morning. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just chilling in it. I'm relaxed, thinking about going gym and everything there. You've come with your crew. Everyone's got a knife, apart from the boss. Everyone's got a knife. So they all back out knives. Even their boss is like, "What are you dealing with?" You get me? Like, but then because they're getting wild, I'm getting wild too. Because I'm like, I'm no one's pussy neither. You get me? But the boss kind of de-escalated, especially after he bought into boxing. And my next brethren who's located me, he jumped to him and said, "Yo, we dealing with on you from Cup and Pen." He said, "Yo, blood, like on the loudest thing." You get me? He's like, no, just cool you. He said, no, you're mad. So Richard Badness, I'm talking about you, Richard Badness. So the reality is like, that was a mad thing. So I really know that you didn't underestimate me and look at me as a fool, because you come here tooled up for me.
Yeah.
So you didn't look at me like someone you can walk over. So I already in my mind already know you don't see me simple. And I already know that they don't ever take me simple. They knew that already, and they knew I got links. They knew I had cousins around the front, and they knew I had a cousin from Mobby that's a dangerous shooting. He's a Ras, dangerous shooting in Spanish town, and they just knew my links in it. And they knew I had mad friends. And this time in GP, they knew I had friends in GP already, and I had some friends up. I knew from St. Anne's who were just killers.
Yeah.
You get me? So they knew I had my links in it, but it was like situation. It was like. And half of that block in it, I was in a build at the time, had mad love for me too. So that situation kind of could have split the block kind of, and then the guy who did that to me a month later.
You defining in you as well. That sort of it sort of showed your change, like you say.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you'd end up doing something there, and
it would have messed my life over. I would have maybe we would have started a prison war.
Yeah.
That's no doubt. I'm not calling the guy and his friends are no pussies. Just started a prison war, and then I would have ended up maybe dying in it, or he'd end up dying in it. But people that died, guaranteed, and people that got life sentences. I don't know whatever they're serving, guaranteed. So it was a no-brainer. It was no good for me. I'm going out in a year and a half. Fuck the pride. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Pride ain't going nowhere right now. The ego and that couldn't help me.
Well done.
That's the emotional intelligence.
Yeah, of course. Well done.
Do you get what I'm saying to you? Look at the bigger picture. I needed road. So the funny thing about it, a man said to me, "Don't do nothing," and a month later that said man boxed him in his face. Do you get me? I'm not saying it's because of me, but he told me don't do nothing about it. Next month he boxed him in his face, but then he ain't never going road anyway.
Of course, there's nothing to lose.
So whether he did it on my behalf, or he did it on his own behalf. God made it that I didn't do nothing, and at that moment I wasn't going to allow myself to destroy myself and my chance of going road.
Of course.
Do you get me? And that's where people don't realize we need to make a decision that's going to make, like your life could change in a split second. You could be arguing a man today on the streets or anywhere. And this is what I want people to get from this. That I wasn't a coward move I did, it was a smart move. Because you couldn't argue to someone right now, and in a split second, you make the wrong choice, and even if you punch that guy, he goes and come back and he comes up with a gun and shoots you or stabs you. Or he comes back and he tries to do you something, and now you got to go out and go attack him back. Sometimes we need to just leave things there and don't let it become something else.
100%.
Do you get me?
So you ended up getting released, like say in
a year and a half. What happened is
2006.
What happened is 2005. A guy shot a warder in prison.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, a guy shot a warder in prison. The warder shot 2 inmates and killed them. There's a breakout in prison.
Okay.
So we all got shipped out of prison because they claimed that Jamaicans wanted to kill foreigners, and then that was the next madness as well, because they was letting every foreigner out but me. I was like, I'm a foreigner, blood. Until other yardies were saying, this is the guy born in Britain, let him go away. And I was kicking up madness, because all I could vision in my brain was the plane's gonna fly with British inmates back to Britain, and I'm gonna be in Jamaica stuck. I went nuts to myself, smashing myself, going crazy, having myself in myself, could feel myself kicking off myself. But they let me out, and I went with the inmates, and sadly we didn't get deported. We didn't get extradited as I hope we wish would. We ended up getting taken to High Horizon, spent a little time at High Horizon. Then the same yardies who they came was gonna kill us, which were my friends. we all bucked up in High Rising, and we was next to each other. I was thinking, it's all a plot. We went to Spanish Town. This time I located a South Block where Tuggle would be. So that's the only time I ever got a South Block, was towards the end of my sentence in 2005. And then from there I spent a couple months on South Block. Then they sent me to Tambury Farm, which was shocking to me. And then from Tambury Farm, I got sent back to the UK.
Deported straight back.
2006, back in the UK. Changed man now. Straight back to London, but I kind of ditched where I usually hang out and lived, and I went straight to Harrow. And I got stayed at my sister's house on their couch. Less than a man, living at my sister's couch, no longer have my own place. My partner no longer together again.
But with the right intentions at the time.
Yeah. In fact, when I came out in 2006, I went to college 2007.
Well done.
Did an access course in sports science. I graduated the highest marks in my class.
Congrats.
And then went to university 2008. I didn't miss the time. I went to university 2008. Graduated with a sports medical degree.
Jeez.
2008 to 2011, graduated. Had a motorbike at the same time. And I actually did my exams through the same process. My partner, at that time, she lost our child, and I was going through madness, but I still stuck it out, graduated from university, and because I'm dyslexic, I didn't tell them, so I got a 2-1, but it was, I forgot 2-1, low 2-1, but it was the fact that I didn't tell them I was dyslexic, because they said to me, how comes when you're writing, your punctuation commas weren't in the best of places, so I lost points for those things, but I told them I didn't care, man. I didn't want to help. I wanted to be me, stronger, and just do everything. So I graduated from university. From there,
building relationships with your children who had been in the country. The two
people in the country. Yeah, of course I did, 100%. I built them from the very day they met me at the airport when I came back. I definitely built relationships with them. And built relationships with my son in Jamaica as well. And I forgave his mum and me. We forgave each other because I also messed her up as well. We forgave each other and we talk. We're not the best of friends, but we talk because being amicable for my son.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about my child. Got to be amicable for my son.
I've been growing.
So we got to. So we got along. Make it right. We make it right for my son. You get me? My son's a big boy now. He's 20 mash. He knows this. He knows everything's happened, but he's cool. You get me? My other 2 children, they're also old now. They're 25 and 23. They're doing well for themselves as well. You get me? They know what I've been through. They've seen the change. They've seen the transformation. See what Dad's about. Like I said, I came out, went to university 2011, graduated. 2008, 2011, graduated. I did a little work for Queen's Park Rangers community. I worked at Aldershot Football Club.
Aldershot's literally right next to me. That's,
I was at Aldershot Football Club.
I did Aldershot today just before I came in.
Is it?
Fooding in Aldershot.
Yeah, I did my actually university placement there.
Yeah.
And then the guys took me on for a bit because they loved where I was a really good physio.
Yeah,
I still am a good physio.
Awesome.
I worked with I worked with a lot of professional footballers.
Awesome.
Through my friend's agency, as a football agency, I worked with professional football players doing football physio.
Fantastic.
And then I had a motorbike accident, so I kind of stopped doing MMA. I was doing MMA, I used to have kickboxing. I've been kickboxing about 20 years. So I had a motorbike accident in 2012, that kind of put me back. And then I kind of, during that time, that's when I actually wrote my book. That's when I actually not wrote my book, but wrote out the book I took out of prison. Because I wrote the books in prison using normal, like prison books, normal books. And I typed them out in 2012, my books. Because after my motorbike accident, couldn't really walk and that. I typed the books out, and put them out. Didn't really push them as much as I should have, but I'm pushing them now. And they actually get a lot of traction now, especially because my autobiography is out.
So what's it all about? So let's mention the 3 books you've done.
Okay, I've done 4 books.
4 books?
Yeah, 4 books. I'll send you. I put a lot of work in, man. 4 books.
So
in prison I wrote Healthy Love. I wrote Healthy Love and Compatible Minds.
Yeah.
But Healthy Love is a poetry book and Compatible Minds is the romance novel. Then like I said, I came out and that's why I typed them out after my motor accident in 2012. And then I wrote a book called I'm a Gun, about gun violence, talk about psychological impact of gun violence and how the gun takes over you. Don't people think they're in control of weapons? Like things let's put it in a nutshell. Would a man walk into a room with, there's 3 of us in the room right now. Would a guy walk into the room by himself with 3, we all look like 3 strong looking guys. Would any man walk in the room and try to fight all 3 of us? Maybe, maybe not. But with a gun in his hand, he's not gonna even fit. Because the guns is real power. So the reality is, when you think you're in control, you're not. The gun's in control.
Brown is my name. My father's name is John. I'm cold, black and hard. I'll make you feel strong. I'll give you power to cut life short. My reign of terror is long. On the front line, in battle I stand, enjoying the feeling of your hand around me. The pulsation.
So I wrote the book from a psycho perspective to that. I gave the book a life. I gave the gun life. So I said that, imagine the gun could torture you.
Yep.
So it's like the gun's telling him. So the book it's a metaphorically written book about crime, violence. It's banging. I tell the book. In fact, I've turned the book into an animated movie. Hasn't released yet. I'll give you a little clip out so you can put it in.
What else you want to kill my phone? Bastard though. Kill the girl too, blood.
Where can people get those books?
Amazon or my website, StephenGrahamProjects.com.
So everyone, the links are going to be below for all this stuff. And obviously on top of that, you've ended up doing a autobiography, Incarcerated Jamaica.
Yeah, that's about my
incredible
life in
book.
prison.
And so talk to us about when you did that. And
I did that book released it last year. I did it last year and I released it this year. I released it this year, April, May, something like that.
So guys, like you say, you've only sort of tip of the iceberg and touching obviously Jamaican stuff, and obviously if you want to get into the nitty gritty and see all the details.
The book's deep. You understand how it really changed my life around and really transferred how I analyse myself, because that's what the book's about. It's about the transformation, not me glorifying the violence I've done, though I talk about those things in there, but it's more just me really explaining how I turned my life around to become the person I am today. You know, and emotional intelligence, which is something that I think is important for everybody.
And so on top of the books and stuff like this, you're not just an author, you've ended up becoming a documentary maker as well.
Well, I've actually, in 2012, on my mobile accident, I decided to go to, like I started to read the Bible, I started to go to Israel and document history and culture. So I went to Israel, I documented the original Arabs there, the original Israelites there. I documented things that mainstream media does not show. Mainstream media don't show the things I've documented. I documented factual things. I got land titles in my documentaries. I've done things that's just crazy. Like, brilliant. I went to Morocco. I've been traveling around the world. In fact, I went to Chicago I think it was 2016, 17. I went to Chicago 3 times now. First time I was invited to Chicago, which is a blessing. And went down there, I met the congressman of Chicago, District 8. And I did an interview with him. And I did a lot of gang work in Chicago, talking with like different gangs and, you know, just talking about what I could do down there, workshops, planning stuff. So as COVID came, kind of messed up the workshops I planned to do down there. Because like I said, my book, I'm a Gun, I turned into a 7, first it was a 12-week program, then I turned to a 7-week program, shortened it, and I made an animated movie for it. So I turned my book, I'm a Gun, into a full-length movie. So it's a 3D animated movie, it's like a GT, you know GTA, the GT game? It's like a GT game, but it's a movie. Crazy. I haven't released it yet. I'm set to release it soon.
And so you obviously, like you said, you did the Chicago documentary as well.
Yeah, the 3 Chicago series.
Yeah,
the Chicago series are crazy.
The first part of that's on your YouTube channel. When's part 2 going to be coming out?
Part 2, I was supposed to release it, but what is, I'm talking to a production, a TV station for them to screen it on their TV. So we're in conversation whether it's going to be exclusive or non-exclusive rights. So that's why I haven't released it yet. So if it's not exclusive, then that means I can release it on any of our platforms. But if they want exclusive, then so I'm holding it back to find out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because I've been blessed recently. I've recently been blessed. You know, because I spent a lot of money in my documentaries, making documentaries, traveling the world. It's all funding for me.
So yeah, like I said, guys, he's got a Jamaican documentary coming out. You have sort of touched on it this one. It looks like it's going to be insane. We've been seeing just the work that's been going into it. There's been, obviously we've had Tug of War on the channel. He's going to be involved in it. Tug of War's
in a documentary. We're getting Robin Travers in a documentary, and there's 2 psychologists that support the things that we're talking about. Why the mindset? Because for me, I'm more about, like I said, I'm more about the psychological aspect of the way we think. Yeah. Because that's where I'm coming from, and this is why I've got a very good success rate with young people, mentoring, and with families, because I think it's important the way we look at life and we perceive life and perceive people and perceive one another. Yeah. That's power. That's like it's power. Like it's crazy. So for me, I'm really touched. I'm really into that. And
so touching on the mentoring stuff, I've seen that you've ended up doing some work with the AP Foundation, charity. Yeah, so you're quite a big part of that and one of the mentors in that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, with AP.
So talk to me about how Andrew came into your life and
Andrew came in my life.
Link up came.
You know, that came in my life. Me, Andrew, and Marvin. Yeah, because Mum know Mum from when I was young.
Yeah, so obviously Stephen, he hasn't said it on camera, I didn't know if you want to touch it, but him and Marvin have known each other since they were really young.
we were part of the same crew growing up. You
Yeah.
get me? We were part of the TUs growing up. Yeah, me and Marvin that.
So when was this then? Time period? Then?
Ah,
A
this
few
was-
years ago or
Nah,
recently? Very recently?
What
With Andrew, the link up with Andrew.
Yeah, recently. Yeah.
So Andrew's a great guy, isn't he?
Andrew's amazing. That's my brother then, man. Real talk. Andrew's an amazing guy, you know.
Genuinely someone who's trying to help people and do the right thing.
Yeah. He's a good guy. That's a proper good guy. You get me? He introduced me to a few good people. You get me saying to you, Andrew. He's always got my backstory. You know what I mean? We get along. He understands where I'm coming from. He sees what I'm doing. He sees my vision. So I help with AP Foundation. He helps pushing my organisation, Stephen Graham Projects. So he opens doors for me.
He's got a great saying. It's rising tides lift all ships, and it's if you help me, it also helps each other. When you're around the right people, it naturally happens, doesn't it?
That's the thing.
If you're around good people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because I mean, everyone wants to see each other prosper, innit? You get me? He's not going to hold me back just because he's got an organisation. He knows that this might be good for me. Hey, go out, Stephen, because that's mine is Stephen Graham Projects. Go out and do this, and they hook me up with somebody to go and do what I did. Like he helped me with Sean, innit? His Andrew hooked me up with Sean.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Andrew's not that type of person to hold me back from nobody.
No, that's what the good people will try and obviously
100%.
spread their links and spread all the good.
Andrew sees all of my capabilities and he opens up a lot of doors for me. So, but it's like back to what's the name? My this tug of war one. Whoa, it's gonna be crazy, bro.
And when are we hoping to have that? Is it gonna be out in 2022?
Yeah, I actually want to be before 2022, like for December. Yeah,
Really? So literally in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's the aiming for. I'm aiming for that. That's what I'm aiming for. God,
so it's close to sort of coming together as we speak. Is it? Seriously, it's gonna be crazy work going into it.
Yeah, because I'm working tirelessly to get it finished. It's mad though, bro.
Can't wait to see it.
What is? I've got a lot of people in Jamaica prison actually giving me footage.
Brilliant.
So I've got real life footage coming straight from Jamaica prison.
And like you said to me earlier, where that's going to be released. Where is that going to be released? That documentary.
That's going to be released both on Sean and on mine as well.
So Sean Atwood's channel. That's Sean Atwood,
Sean,
and on Stephen's channel himself. So like I said, the links will be below. When that comes out, I'll put some.
And on Tug of War's as well, on Tug of War's channel too.
Perfect. I can't.
Because like for me, it's not about money. Keep it to myself. It's a statement I want to show people that the inhumane that's going on in Jamaica prison. It's really inhumane. It's way behind time. The prison system is outdated. It's
Absolutely.
Crazy. So it's like, it's for me, about the money I spend helping inmates getting, what they need to get, phones and all this type of stuff to do it. I don't care about all that. You get what I'm saying? The money can cost me anything. I don't care about all that. I care about getting that message out there. You get me? So it's not about me only. So Sean's willing to support me. God bless him. Tug Wolves will support me. Man, if you want to support me, brother, I don't really care. I just want that message out there. That it's inhumane what's going on in the prison. And it's not only affecting Jamaican inmates, it's affecting foreigners will come there, because whether you're black, white, and Chinese, a foreigner comes in, you're in the same shit, you're in that same environment, you're not eating right, you're going through madness. It doesn't make sense. How do you expect to rehabilitate somebody if you're not putting them in a predicament to rehabilitate them? Do you get what I'm saying? It's supposed to be, they call it a correctional centre, but they're not correcting nobody because you're giving people inhumane conditions to live in. How are you going to change their mindsets? It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm one of the few to really change my mindset in that place.
It's very rare to be able to do that in those places. Generally, people have to reform themselves when they come out in these places.
Yes, I did mine in there.
It's unbelievable. And so you've obviously mentioned, your books, people can get them on Amazon. You've got a YouTube channel out there. But in terms of social media, can people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, of course they can, man. Social media.
So Instagram, I know you're on Insta.
Yeah, Instagram, Stephen Graham Projects on Instagram.
And what about Facebooks and all
I'm
this
on
sort of
Facebook, Stephen Graham, and I'm on Twitter, Stephen G. Graham.
Unbelievable. Like I said, I'd like to really congratulate yourself on the journey you've taken and how you've reformed and completely changed on the whole 9 yards. It's been absolutely unbelievable. So you've been obviously very generous with your time today, and I'd like to obviously massively thank you again for the opportunity.
I thank you for the opportunity too, bro.
And hopefully down the line, when you've got something that you'd like to show off or any sort of projects you've got going out, obviously down the line in 2022 and obviously in the future,
definitely.
hopefully we can sit down again and it'd be
100%.
absolutely unbelievable, because it's the knowledge you're spreading is great. It's great to see someone who's really reformed and actually come fully around. Congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Stephen, thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me the time today. Is there anything else you want to add that we've sort of missed out? We've mentioned social medias, all the links for Stephen's stuff.
First of all, last of all, I just want to say thank you to you, because for giving me a platform to actually share my experience with people, and and to talk to your audience, your community, and those who listen to you and love you. and your channel, what you're doing. You know, I appreciate that still. You get me?
Well,
So,
much appreciated. Like I said, obviously you mentioned you've done a Sean Atwood in the past. You've also done a Marvin, so I'm going to put those links on there as well. And hopefully, obviously, you could do a Banged Up Abroad. You seem like the perfect candidate for that.
it would be nice. I appreciate you telling me that as well. You know what I'm saying? But again,
So
a bit like a Sean, like Andrew. You sending me.
That's what I do. Like anyone who helps me, I try and help them.
Yeah, you send me
whatever way
information. I
help.
appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate that.
Well, like I said, thank you very much, and absolute pleasure meeting you. Until next time.